Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's just go places.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
A special Tuesday picks.
Do we still have to hurry?
More so.
All right.
They lost the game because they didn't play complimentary football, but they moved the ball.
Oh,
They
it was noted. It was
moved
it was
the ball.
It was noted in postgame. 250 yards constitutes moving the ball.
Get him out of here.
Oh, boy.
Whoa!
Wow.
Get him out of here.
All right. What if they don't want that?
Then they're stupid.
Okay.
Okay.
Evan is back from Zappe.
What did he say?
Yes,
What
sir,
did
yes,
he-
ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. What did he say?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mike, that's all in me and you. We stepped all over him. That was brilliant.
700% improvement for the Patriots this week, but they lose 16-7.
Well, isn't 700% of zero still zero?
Deuce.
Leave him alone. He's on a roll.
Paul and Deuce and Tamara will be back tomorrow.
And Tease, evidently, because
And
suddenly
Matisse?
Matt is running the
Yeah.
program.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right. Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It's Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, a travel day for the team. So it's Deuce, Tamara, Evan, Paul, myself, as usual. However, Evan and I will be getting out of here pretty soon because we got to get on the bus. So I'll leave you with Deuce, Tamara, Paul, and Matisse will join in.
Go to the bench.
Yeah.
Call him off the
so
bench.
it's still a full show, even without Evan and I. But we got a lot to talk about here, right?
Oh, yeah. Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
You're about to go there.
Yeah. Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, maybe no Najee Harris. He missed practice yesterday. So, yeah, we're having a dueling top running backs being out maybe.
Yeah. But, you know, when you look at the matchups, advantage quarterback, Steelers, even though it's Mitch Trubisky.
Sure.
I mean, he's won games in the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, Zappe's won 2 games in the NFL.
That,
to be
you
fair.
know what?
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Trubisky might be 2 and like 20 something.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I stand corrected.
He gave them a hard time at Chicago.
Let's
in
look
17,
that up.
2017, 28,
Paul
2018.
always,
2018.
Paul always comes at the receiver.
Well, you
Yeah.
gotta check. You gotta be checked.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first trip to Soldier Field,
Okay.
2018.
He played well in that game. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he ran a lot in that
He
game,
did. Yeah.
and I think that's the big thing for the Patriots this week. You know, the one thing that he can do is he can extend plays with his legs. He can run, he can scramble, and he can get outside the pocket.
Is that
and
the
make
one
throws
where
on the move.
we had? Was
feel like my
Cordarrelle
memory-
Peterson on our team?
Cordell
Yeah, exactly.
Patterson.
Patterson, yes. And
Cordero
he
Patterson.
returned a kick
He had
in
a
that
good game.
Yeah.
Trubisky is 31 and 24 as a starter.
Really?
In his
That-
career.
that's
Wait, has a winning record?
31 and 24.
It's a big difference between 2 and 20.
That's
What? How does he have a winning record?
He was 11 and 3 in 18.
Wow.
8 and 7 the next year, 6 and 3, and then 2 and 3 last year.
Some people say they gave up on him too fast.
Yeah.
well, maybe.
What, he had like the year in Buffalo, and now he's been in Pittsburgh for this is his second season, I think. Right? Yeah, he was
I
there
believe
last year.
that's correct.
Yeah.
So they've got the experience at the quarterback position in this game.
They also have better weapons.
They have better weapons, so their offense is better than our offense.
We know this is where this is headed.
I
for
think
you,
defense is a
Tamara.
toss-up, right? Our defense, their defense.
I don't know. I mean, T.J. Watt's really good. I mean, I think it would probably tip it a little bit in their favor just because. I mean, if the Patriots had Judon, maybe it's almost comparable. But I think T.J. Watt's just too good right now. He's the best player on either defense.
Okay.
Yeah, Steelers defense is really good. Their front is probably one of the best that they've played all year.
Yeah. But, you know, the offenses don't play each other. So their offense, their defense against our defense against their offense, I think they have the advantage because our offense just doesn't score points.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a place
I
to
mean,
start.
But neither does theirs.
Theirs doesn't either.
Well-
This could literally
Well,
be.
what?
Not as bad as us.
Well, no, we're last.
Right.
But what are they? Like,
30th.
did you look that up?
Yeah.
Are they 30th?
Something like that.
And who have they been playing?
Teams.
Teams without their starting quarterback. I mean,
Yeah.
they beat the Bengals, but cool. But Joe Burrow wasn't playing.
Okay. The other kid's pretty good.
I mean, they scored 16
Browning.
in that game, and then Jacksonville scored 31 on them the next game. Like,
They're 28th in scoring. So they don't
score.
They're averaging 16 a game. They fired their offensive coordinator 2 weeks ago.
I mean, they went 59 games without getting even 400 yards in one game.
So, Paul, you're saying there's a chance?
I definitely think there's a chance.
I'm saying this could be another 6-0 game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
When the other team can't
who has
score,
6?
the game is. I mean, I
you
picked.
choose.
We made our picks. We did our picks yesterday, Freddie.
Yeah.
I picked Pittsburgh, so I'm not telling you I think the Patriots are going to win.
Right.
But I think what Tamara said is very accurate. When neither team scores a lot,
Anything can happen.
anybody can win.
Turnovers, right?
I guess.
Oh, God.
I did a little digging, though. Did you know you got to go back all the way to the 2011 Rams to find an offense that averaged under 13
Just out of
points a game?
curiosity, who was the coordinator of that offense?
I don't recall.
You don't recall, Mike?
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Yeah, somebody lost
What-
their job because
What
of that.
offensive system did that team try to use?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, that would be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been a team under 13 points in over 12 years.
I looked this up the other day because to put it in perspective for the Patriots, the last Patriots offense to score this few points per game, Rod Rust. The Rod Rust year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
1991.
No, 90.
90.
90.
So,
90.
1 and 15.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Based off record, it's the worst Patriots season ever. But based off of
That's
vibes,
the worst team ever.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's the worst Patriots team ever. And you are neck and neck right now in scoring with the Rod Rust Patriots. Like, that's just wild.
It's historically bad. It's
Yeah.
historically bad.
For them especially.
Yeah.
Like, you have to after that, you have to go back to, like, the 60s and, like, Bo Pelini and stuff. Like, you were talking about a different type of football at that point. So, like, you're really, like...
Did you mean to say Babe Perilli?
Yeah, sure, whatever the heck.
Did you say Bo Pelini?
I was born in 1992. You're lucky
The reason,
who
the
Rod
reason I
Rust
chuckled,
was.
Bo Pelini is actually a person.
Yeah, who
He
was
was a
again?
linebackers coach here. He ended up being the Nebraska's head coach for a while.
See, I knew what I was talking
there you
about.
go.
And Fred will tell you, not a fan of PFW.
No, I have a funny Bo Pelini story if anyone's interested.
Bo Pelini, Bay Pearly, whatever, same thing.
Anyway.
All the same people to me.
Yeah.
Back when the Patriots stunk.
So this
That's
is
all I
going to
know.
be another game that puts NFL football back 30 years, 40 years.
Oh, and on Thursday night, too. So you got that element added
And the
into
Thursday
it.
night games tend to be lower scoring, although last week's was high scoring, 41-35.
Do we have a weather report for tomorrow night?
No, that's a good question. I thought
We
you guys
don't.
might be on that. You guys are headed there in a
No.
minute.
Yeah.
No, I don't even want to look.
There's
because
an
of
app
this
for that.
If only there was a way.
Yeah.
You looking it up?
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be, pretty nice in terms of, like, Pittsburgh this time of year.
Okay.
Of course, on Friday when we're not going to be there, it's going to be 60. So we could have had a nice day on the
Pittsburgh in
Let me tell
December,
you,
60-degree
driving
day.
up-
Beautiful.
Driving up from the Cape,
It's a very underrated place, Pittsburgh.
That's what everybody's talking
driving
about.
up from the
fine.
Cape this morning,
Yeah.
you would think it never snowed before. It was, literally they closed the Bourne Bridge because it was too icy.
Really?
They didn't put salt down or whatever, so I had to loop around. It took me 2 hours to get here.
Yikes.
Yeah.
What, you got to loop back to the Sagamore?
Yeah,
but you're closer to the
no.
Sagamore anyway. Why'd you go down to the
No, I
Bourne?
went over the Sagamore and then I
Oh.
go over to the Bourne, but that's where the problem was. So I had to loop back and take those back roads to get to Cranberry Highway. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I do.
The Cranberry
That
Box.
used to be how you had to get to the Bourne Bridge, the Cranberry Highway, right? You had to like cut through Wareham and
Cape
stuff.
geography talk.
Is that a real place, or is that like in Candyland or something like that?
It sounds like it, right? Yeah, a lot of cranberry bogs.
So can you just tell how excited Tamara is just for this game? Like,
I'm upset you're
We got
not going.
Tomlin
I
over
feel
there.
like,
I wish I
really
could go, but no,
Well, get in your car, start driving.
absolutely not.
Tickets will be cheap.
My max for road trips is like 2 hours.
2
That's
Drive
it?
it? Really?
What's the matter?
I have no
You gotta-
patience.
You got a small bladder or something?
you gotta have a
no
responsibility. 2
I have no
hours.
patience.
I used to drive to Ithaca, New York. It's 6 hours.
Nope.
No, but listen.
No.
You get your good podcast going.
No.
What?
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Oh yeah, I put cruise
Planes
control
exist.
on.
Why am I wasting time?
Because you're
someplace-
not wasting time. It's your time when you're in your car. When you're in a plane, it's their time. They control you. When you're in a car, you control the situation.
Where did this come from?
But Mr. Hand, if we're all here, isn't it our time?
For me, anything.
If Tomlin's here and Belichick's here, doesn't that make it our time?
No, but for me, anything less than 4 hours, I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
Wait,
I would
duh.
agree. The
Well,
ability
yeah.
to have my car, I think, is
Wait, how long
key.
is the drive?
Oh, it's
Pittsburgh.
far.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's probably more like 7 hours.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely
Pittsburgh's too
not.
far.
No.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
But the thing too about we do this not to complain by any means, but by the time you get on the plane, you go through security, like you really start to do the math. It's
Yeah, I think we have to get on the bus by 12:30 or 1, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're not going to get into Pittsburgh till what, 5?
Yeah.
We used to do it for Jets games once in a while. We would actually calculate it, and absolutely, if you drove, you could get there faster.
Yeah. Like, so if I started driving at 10 o'clock this morning, I'd beat the team to Pittsburgh.
But you also left earlier.
I know, but
no,
what?
but you
But
could.
yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh is not. But like we used to do it for the Jets. Like calculating the time that you got through security here at the stadium onto the bus. If you left and drove, you could get there the same time.
I guess for me, I'm like spoiled. One, Providence Airport is like the size of this room.
Oh, yeah.
And I show up when my flight is boarding, and
Yeah, Providence is a breeze. It's
and I
really
have TSA
easy.
pre-check, so I literally just like walk straight through, get on the plane.
You're like
and
professional
go.
plane traveler.
I am.
Well, she travels a lot.
I
so
know.
I
it
would
better
do
be.
anything not to have to take a commercial flight again. The Patriots have completely ruined me for travel.
Yeah.
I do not want to travel commercially ever again, and I despise having to do it.
I get
I
a
will
lot
say-
of flack at the family dinner table for bringing that up because we were going to Germany, and I was like, oh, and I had to fly commercial, and my parents wanted to murder me.
Yeah.
They were like,
Yeah.
excuse me, and I was like, I'm sorry. It's
I
just
do. I get
it's
yelled
just
at
a
for that too,
fact.
but I hate it. I hate having to do it. Probably going to be taking a couple of trips this, as soon as the season's
then
over too, and
so
I'm not
like,
looking forward
so,
to it.
you know, we got spoiled on charters. Can you imagine how these rich people get spoiled with their own jets?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can do that every time they want.
No, I know, but like, imagine if like the jet wasn't.
I don't have the option to take a
Imagine if the
charter
jet was
every time.
grounded one day and they had to fly commercial.
They'd get a
their
new
heads
one.
would explode.
Oh, my
They'd
old
buy a
job-
new one.
My old job,
Kardashian going through
yeah.
the terminal.
My old job, my bosses used to take private flights, and I would like see the bill for just like the gas alone was like 20 times what our vacation would even cost. But
Oh, yeah.
it's the
Well, what
convenience
is
of it.
one of those net jets cost? Like, is it like $50,000 to go?
Like
on?
where you're in like kind of a group with people and you
Yeah.
all kind of split it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the like just the one-off to like Cabo was like $35,000.
35,000.
Jeez. Well, because like when we fly in places, we often go to like the private part of the airport, and so like you see like all of like those, especially in like places like Vegas and stuff like that, where there are a lot of the private jets, and they're all just like lined up, and they're too small for me. Like
But-
I would I don't want
You
to.
But-
feel
but-
everything on them.
Yeah.
But
Much
if the
nothing.
jet holds
6,700 an hour.
10 and it's 35,000 and you split it 3,500 per person, that's still a lot higher than if you paid for a flight, but it might be worth it if you really
It's
want
for the smallest jet
luxury.
they offer.
Yeah.
What, 10 people?
I'm saying it's $6,700 an hour for the smallest jet they offer. It's $12,000
$6,700
an hour
an
for the
hour.
biggest jet.
Oh wow.
And I don't even know if that includes gas too. Like the gas jumped out at me, like that was like another surcharge in there that you're like, whoa, that's where
Anyway, we're digressing.
private jet
Good,
talk.
good travel talk.
That's what happens when you're 2 and 10.
right.
Nothing
Are
like
we
the
gonna
Army
break down
Navy.
the X's and O's?
Nothing like the Army-Navy game to get a little spruce up of the surface
I gotta
tunnel
get one
here.
of
Here
those
we go.
shirts. I feel like I'm the only one in the stadium that does not have that shirt.
Yeah, I have
I
one.
don't
They
like
don't.
it.
Yeah, they don't have any.
You know why I
hoodies.
don't like it, right, Paul?
Yeah, I do.
You don't
but
like the fake
so-
hoodie?
So did you not take
too
yours?
thin.
Can I take yours then? If you
I don't
like
even
it?
know what. No, I think
We
I
got
have-
that.
Evidently,
It was
everybody
like
got one. I didn't.
It
get
was like an ice cream social.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
event
think
that
that
you
was
You were on Felger and
downstairs
Mass or
then, and
something.
no one
No,
cares.
you were
didn't-
Felger and
No,
Mass.
he
No,
didn't.
I don't-
It was a Wednesday.
He didn't get the invite because he's downstairs.
No,
I
you
don't.
had to be here. You had to go upstairs. I think it was a Monday.
Yeah, there was ice cream.
It was ice cream.
Yeah.
How did it not get you ice
Yeah,
cream?
I went up there and I
That's
didn't have the ice cream.
my
I
love
just-
language.
Now, in all seriousness, does it make any sense to anybody that I passed up free ice cream?
No, I mean that's
Come on.
That's what I was wondering. But they did put out a bunch of new stuff yesterday in the pro shop. So if you want some Army Navy swag, come on down to Patriots Place. Although it's gonna be a little crazy.
And
What a
they're-
company,
They're
man.
repainting the
It
whole.
really is. It's an embarrassment.
The whole service tunnel is being redone, and I assume because of Army Navy. And then the E3 corridor. Did you see the new?
Yeah.
We did.
That was pretty cool.
Cool.
Color,
Absolutely.
in color.
Very cool.
Yeah, we have like murals on the walls as you walk down this one hallway, and it's like Tom Brady and Julian Edelman and.
Damian
Damian
Harris.
Harris.
They should take
Well,
that
we
down.
took
No,
that
no,
down.
no.
While
we
they're
finally got
painting, they should
Damian
take
Harris
that
down,
down.
replaced
But,
by Tom Brady.
It's the Revs and Monster, things that have happened here in Gillette
Gustavo
Stadium,
Bo.
and they changed one of the walls to all Army Navy guys in their uniforms, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other ones are like two-tone. These are color,
Yeah.
so they really pop.
I wasn't sure if we were able to talk about those murals publicly, so I never brought this up. But going from Damian Harris to the Brady on the week 1 this year photo that we have up there now
Yeah.
was like the that's the biggest upgrade you ever could possibly
You can
have.
thank Matt Smith.
Yeah, no socks.
Matt Smith was tireless in trying to get that replaced, and they finally did it right before we played the Bills.
That's a fantastic picture of Brady. On the podium, addressing the crowd in week 1, and then we go to that from no offense.
Wow, it's crazy how much that was the first game of the season. Time goes by.
Doesn't that seem like it was 3 years ago?
Yes. I mean, I remember seeing Brady. I mean, that's
And it does. The season goes by fast.
It does.
But at that particular moment seems like it was so long ago.
To me, it seems like yesterday.
But I do agree with you, Freddie. The NFL season goes by very fast.
Well, and part of it, to me, the Brady thing was yesterday because everything in between was forgettable.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's
a good point.
What is
I mean, Buffalo's win was cool for me just because my kids were there, and of all games for them to have a first Patriots
like
game.
Deuce's kids go to the game, it's 29-25. My kid goes to the game at 6-0.
And I got a rock.
He had the best game ever.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
best
got a
game.
bike.
It was awesome, and the kids were sitting right above where the Gesicki touchdown happened, and they got a great video of it.
Also, they
and
love the gritty too.
Yeah.
So that was
Broadway
perfect.
Zoe in the house.
So what's up?
Watch out.
So's looking at us through the window.
Looking at us like, who are these?
So he's throwing Matt
So
a
it's just
10,
paying Morrell money, evidently.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get me lunch.
I'm sure that's what it was. Remember when he stole our?
Well, that's started the whole thing.
rummaging through things back there. What's going on?
All right,
He's the best.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Getting back to the Patriots and football, anything we need to know that's occurred this week? I know it's been a short week.
John Jones. Did you guys already talk about that?
Walter Payton Man of the Year. Yeah, so he's the Patriots nominee for Walter Payton Man of the Year, which is a big deal. The league winner of that goes to the Super Bowl and gets awarded at the Super Bowl. So the Patriots nominee is John Jones this year.
He does so much in the community. I'm like, how do you have time for that? Especially here, back home, at Auburn, just busy.
And nice little piece on Patriots.com about that. So that's nice.
Football-wise, practice was later yesterday, so Evan's update was...
it would have been a good one, too.
It would have been a good one. There's a couple things going on.
Yeah.
I would say biggest thing is, sometimes we see the kickers, and they'll be kicking.
They're out there kicking,
as opposed to
kicking
oil
the ball.
painting, as opposed to
doing whatever it is with their foot.
First of all, they were kicking, as they tend to do. But the person that was place kicking was not one rookie, young Chad Ryland.
Was the other dude?
It was the other kicker,
Matthew Wright.
Matthew Wright, on the practice squad now, who does have some NFL experience. He has kicked in regular season games before. So just the one little snapshot. I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that they're benching Ryland or anything quite yet, but they showed very little confidence in him last week, I felt like, in a couple instances.
I would agree with that.
Did you, I don't know if it was on this show or one of Paul's shows, but somebody said Ryland in pregame missed 5 straight.
Yeah, all of the gents, I'm not sure if Evan did as well, but everybody was chronicling his pregame routine, and everybody said he missed 5 out of 6 at one point or something.
Deep, 48
Yeah, 48,
plus.
53.
Yeah, and that's why they didn't kick. I think it was a 53 or 54-yard field goal.
There was a shorter one than that they went for.
Yeah.
They went for a 4th down that would have been a 48-yard.
Okay, maybe that was it. And Bill, after the game, said he wasn't making them in pregame, so we didn't trust him to make it in the game. And I think that there's a chance that it's a competition at least, and they're we're giving Wright some practice reps.
How do people feel about that? Out of curiosity.
I miss Nick Folk.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't know.
Is that the best way? If they were 10-2, I would absolutely this is what you'd have to do. You'd probably have already made a move and try to get him on your practice squad, see if he can get his head straight, whatever. But at 2-10, is that the best way to handle a rookie kicker?
I see what you're getting at. I don't know. That's I think a good question. I mean, you want to see him work through it. You invested a draft pick in this kid.
Well,
you like him. He's got a good leg.
That's one way to look at it, but the other way to look at it is the rest of the team. Am I doing a disservice to the rest of the team by just trotting out this guy that can't make kicks when we're involved in 10-7, 10-6 games, 6-0, where every point is critical? I'm letting down
11 games of pathetic offense.
No, I know, but if I'm not
anybody.
doing what I have to do at that position,
games.
I'm letting down the
No,
rest
at least
of the
they
team.
finally made a change.
You did that for a million weeks with Mac Jones, so why not let Chad Ryland have the same amount of
Well, I can make the
tries?
same argument with Mac Jones. Maybe that was mishandled as well.
Well, that was mishandled from every angle,
But
not just
why
that one.
do it wrong twice?
No, I'm just saying, like, you traded up in the 4th round. He's an asset that you thought enough of to do that for, and now he's struggling. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. He hasn't kicked well. He's been very erratic. A couple of really short ones he's missed the last 2 times that he's been out there. But are you ready to sort of change?
Yeah.
For good?
No. But right now, I'd like
Well,
to
if
win. Right now, I'd like to win a game or two.
Okay, but my point is, what's more important, him long term or winning a game or two?
Him long term. Because there are kickers.
I've got all off season to work with him.
Okay, well, that's not really going to do it.
I
Like,
know.
If he's going to be somebody, this.
We're already hearing defense bitching about the offense that we have to be perfect.
Yeah, you know what?
And now I'm going to bring out.
I've about had it with that too. But
Okay,
that'll be another
We'll
argument.
get into that. But where points are at a premium, I have to think about the entire team, and I'm not going to be working on this one guy because I traded up in the 4th round and forfeit a game, and that's just not fair to everybody
Fred,
else.
I didn't say to forfeit a game. Like, don't do it. Make it an Andy argument. Like, okay, so we have no chance to win because Chad Ryland is on the team.
No,
so I'm forfeiting today.
But I have a less chance
as
if I
well.
don't have a field goal kicker who can make field goals. So it's you can argue either way, but I can see this.
I'm just
it's the
saying, if
same
you
thing.
have designs in this guy being part of your future, I don't know if this is the best thing for him. For mentally, it's
And
a
there
very,
are-
You could make
it's
the
a
same-
very, very mental position.
There are kickers that have had bad
Yes.
starts to their careers and then all of a sudden turned into great kickers.
Yeah, and what really
Well,
brought
this
this
isn't
in
the end for him.
First of all, well, it might be.
For this season, it is.
That might mean the end. That's exactly what Evan's talking about. And I think, first of all, I'm just bringing it up as a, as they like to say, facilitation.
We don't have a lot to argue about
right.
this year,
and
so let's
and,
argue.
and it's not, and I'm not necessarily arguing with you about it. I'm just asking if it's the best way to handle it. And what got it on my radar, I think, was either last Friday or the Friday before, when Bill started being asked about it, and I think it was last Friday. He
radio.
mentioned a lot of guys that were really successful kickers in this league did not have that success with their original team. They go to
Look at
another
Nick
team
Folk.
Yep.
and they end up panning out.
Yep.
Now Nick Folk was good with a lot of teams, but there's a lot of guys that really were terrible when they first got in the league and ended up having long successful careers. And I wonder, is that what the plan is? Like, you have to accept the fact that it's not going to work here. He might go somewhere else and it might pan out for him. And I'm not arguing necessarily. I'm just wondering, is that where we're going?
I think right now I think right now all Bill is thinking about is I need a guy who can make a field goal, and we can make a 48-yarder when we need it, and he's thinking about the now. I don't think he's thinking about 2024 or his future, Ryland's future. I just think he's thinking about, I got a bunch of guys in this team that would love to get a win, and I'm the coach, and it's up to me to find a way to get a win. And you can make the same argument that he didn't pull the plug, fast enough with Mac Jones.
I get that. That's the counter. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think
I
that
get your argument.
That's almost the challenge for Bill as being the GM and the coach is that I think sometimes that's another thing that kind of gets in the way a little bit is like the here and now matters to Bill the coach, but Bill the GM needs to take has to take that bird's eye view of it.
Yep.
And so these decisions, I think sometimes I'm not necessarily even knocking him for it because that's a tough spot to be in.
It
like,
is,
the team right now might be dying for a win, but really if you in the long term, it's probably better if they lose. Like, that's just the reality. Like I've said before, Pittsburgh beating Pittsburgh tomorrow night does not help them in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you tell me that they upset the Chiefs in a couple weeks and that like the Buffalo game is kind of like a feel-good win for the team, then fine. But losing, winning these types of games are the games that are going to matter.
And I would also
I just
say,
got an email that we're going to miss the bus.
Actually,
that's what Neil Perry just emailed. So
Oh,
I don't know
Perry's.
what he's talking about. We better
Okay.
get going.
All right. Well,
no.
I
I'll
was
leave
glad,
it to you guys to,
I was
to
glad-
figure this out.
I was under the gun. I only had 26 minutes, but I did get Fred to yell at me, so I'm glad that I was able to do that. With the situation, like I said, I don't necessarily think that Bill's wrong for wanting to make a change. Maybe he's decided. I'm just wondering, and to Evan's point about the winning the game or losing the game. Yeah, that's probably not in the best interest of the team. You probably want to continue to keep that draft position as high as you can. But I would argue that even Thursday night, like tomorrow night, if you could win the game 31-27, I think you could get something out of that. Now, we were talking about it during that Chargers game in the fourth quarter. My God, don't score now. Don't win this game 7-6, and it's a miserable game and you got nothing out of it. And the only thing that was accomplished was that you hurt your draft position. Whereas if you could somehow, have a really good offensive game, you could talk yourself into, okay, the offense has been miserable, but we're finally showing signs of life here, and we're scoring some points. I could get behind some wins that way, but in terms of the kicker, I just think it's such a mental position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that gets in his head now. And he's already got struggling because he's not making enough kicks. I just wonder if that's maybe going to be the end for him in New England.
Plus,
if you make a change,
we don't know what's going on in practice too. What's
I'm
his
sure he's
performance
struggling.
like that,
Listen, the kid. I'm not trying to make excuses for Chad Ryland. He hasn't done the job. It is what it is. It's a results-oriented business, and he hasn't done the job.
Yeah, no, I mean, Behringer's been up and down.
He's been up and down, but he's been better than Ryland.
Yeah, he's showing glimpses. So, Matisse, welcome in, you guys. We've got Matisse Bauman here. You know his voice from the PU halftime show.
Face reveal.
Face reveal. You've been on the show before, though, haven't you?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All the draft podcasts, I'm not sure. We don't do any video for those.
That's just he just wants to come down and replay his greatest hits of players that he loved. That the Patriots
I said
did
Tyquan was a late round guy. That's all I'm going to say.
Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnston.
Hey, that was right. He stinks.
There was Eldred online went on. So I had a thing. We hear people talking. You see little clips on Twitter and stuff. And I saw Tommy Curran kind of thrown out there of Mac being the bridge quarterback. Did you see this yesterday? I think it was on
for
one
next
of the
year.
Yeah.
Mike, do you remember last week I told you I wouldn't have been stunned if he played?
Yeah.
And by the way, he was active. I do not rule out that possibility at all.
I don't either. And I mean, I think I was more okay with it a couple months ago, and I've slowly been like, how can they? And the question that kind of came to me was just, I get it. I get why you would say this, but I also just, how do you sell that to the team?
I couldn't agree more.
How do you sell
if you
that
have
to them?
the option between Mac Jones and any other veteran guy, I would opt for the other one, even if I think Mac Jones is better. What I think of Baker Mayfield. If you get stuck and you have nobody, I'd rather have Baker Mayfield. If you get stuck and you have nobody, I'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo. I think those guys are done. I don't have any illusions. I'm talking about you couldn't draft a quarterback and you have nobody to play. Bailey Zappe and Baker Mayfield, to me, would be better than Bailey Zappe and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You got to sit down with Jabril Peppers and be like, so we're going to bring Mac.
This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to do what now?
I did see we were in the locker room yesterday and Mac was out on the field by himself, still putting work in. He was, we could see him through the windows when we went out.
That's
on the
when
field.
I feel bad.
He's continuing to work, and
that human part of it makes me feel. I have empathy for him because I do know that it means a lot to him.
Do you think he plays again this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Maybe if Bailey rolls an ankle.
I think he definitely plays again this year. There's 5 more games.
I kind of do.
They just got shut out.
I say no unless something happens to Bailey, unless he gets hurt or something. Yeah.
What about Bailey Zappe just does nothing?
Nope.
Just like last week, it's just nothing. It's
like Evan said, nothing's kind of good sometimes. So
I feel like he hasn't done anything to hurt the team, in terms of throwing just bad interceptions. Mac just keeps doing that over and over and over, and it's we don't really need to see that again.
I said on the field it was Zappe was getting grabbed around the ankle, and he just went down and took the sack, and I was like, that's the difference right there. Mac would have just chucked
he would have chucked it up, and it would have been a pick.
So.
Yeah, those bad plays. No question. But we were talking about it in the locker room a little bit, and I just said, it's for every bit of criticism that we've thrown and lobbed in Mac Jones's direction, some of it right and some of it wrong. I've just never questioned his work ethic. He's always
that's why
done everything you ask.
Kind of feel.
Yeah.
So the quarterback that replaced him went out and did absolutely nothing and is considered, oh, no. It's his job now.
We got to keep him in.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like it's tough because it's like he's working hard, but like there's no change noticed on the field. Like that's what's tough with Mac. It's like he's putting in the hours and the time. He's not like playing video games and having to get written in his contract that he needs to write more, watch more film. That's not the problem. But when he's on the field, it's like, why are we not noticing any change?
Studying a test and he's still failing.
Especially like off the bye, I felt like, because I don't know what I was expecting. Not that I was expecting anything. I was just maybe fooling myself of maybe this week off helped him, and it couldn't have gone any worse than it did in Germany. But he just came out and it was the same exact thing. That's just why can't he break that cycle? That's
a great question.
There are some positives for him, but I mean, then Devin McCourty was out today, asked the question of who do you blame, Mac or the organization? And I mean, really, Devin kind of laid it at the organization's feet, but it's so hard to untangle.
And then all the writers chimed in. Yeah. Devin speaks the truth. I know I'm the only one that thinks that they still give him all the excuses in the world, but there it is.
You gotta. It is hard to untangle, but like I can't get away from the thought that I had of when I saw Tom kind of throw that out there, and something that we had talked about too. But just how do you sell that to the team? That's the biggest thing for me. Like I understand it from a first round draft pick perspective, and what he's done, and what you're hoping that he was going to grow into, and that you still don't want to lose sight of that. But at the same time, it just continues to look the same. No matter kind of who was around him.
And you have to sell it to the team, but and the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's tough right now because people are cranky. People are cranky right
really?
now.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
You guys weren't there, but in Germany, the Zappe chants in that stadium, I was like, this is tough.
Really?
I just don't get how you bounce back.
We had some Zappe chants here. Like they were encouraging
Zappe
chants.
But I'm saying like European soccer fan stadium, like just
when Zappe went in the game,
Zappe.
Yeah, more or less.
And then Sunday, like even when they're getting shut out for 3.5 quarters,
come on.
I think there was a belief that he's going to do it.
Yeah.
Here's the part that annoys me is there you got Zappe, and I'm like he did an end around to Tyquan Thornton. What? He didn't do anything. Why are we chanting?
They're just trying. At least it wasn't. I thought we were going to get the Bring Back Mac chant. The Bring Back Mac.
I don't think you're
going to get that.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever going to get that.
Are you sure?
People have taped over their Mac Jones jerseys and changed it to Zappe jerseys.
Isn't that just the most depressing thing for a football franchise when that it gets to that? Like every franchise kind of goes through that when you figure out like certain segment of the fan base.
Are we
like
starting our quarterback
Cleveland
jerseys?
Browns?
Our quarterback jersey,
right.
With the brown paper bag,
just setting it on fire. But
that was everything when I saw that photo. I can't.
Well, it's got plenty of emails here coming in, and I guess, are we okay to go to the phones yet, Paul? I'm feeling this. I'm a little thrown off because usually,
I'll allow. It's when 35.
Usually when I host, I get like it's a mindset, and you start off and you get into it, and Fred was here, and now it's like all of a sudden he's passing the reins off.
35 is more than enough time to clear your throat.
All right,
Good job.
All right, let me clear my throat. Spee, what's going on, Spee? How are you?
Hey, I'm all right. How you guys doing?
All right,
good.
Covered
Paul
a 2 and 10 team
yesterday that really resonated for me, at least. He said it was something like, "They don't suck because they turn the ball over. They turn the ball over because they suck." And I thought that was good. Like Bill's always harped on not turning the ball over. He's had like a hair trigger benching young players like Stevenson, but these days, when Bill invokes the turnovers are our main problem with the offense, it rings a little hollow. It's like I wonder if he's like deflecting from having discussed, like to talk about what's really going wrong and leading to the turnovers. Like he's treating a symptom like it's a disease.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know your guys' thoughts. Is that what he's doing? Is he deflecting?
So I strongly believe that, Spee. I do, and I think that that's also part of the reason why he's been so evasive when asked about the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Because if I continue to say, I told everybody to be ready. I expect. Well, you know what? They both deserve a chance. If I keep, sort of, belaboring this point instead of just naming a starter. You name a starter, and the questions end, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So these are what the questions are going to be, and then maybe they're not going to talk about. Well, it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is, because we're not moving the ball and scoring points. I keep talking about turnovers, and people are going to keep saying, and some in the media have glommed onto that. They put the turnover ratio up every week. And you look, and there's like, I don't know, Kansas City's down there. and Cleveland's down. There are teams that have winning records that are down around where the Patriots are in the turnover margin that are 8-9 games ahead of them in the standings. It's not just about turnovers. Now, obviously, you throw as many interceptions as Mac was throwing, that's going to hurt you. But I just don't think that they're 2-10 because of turnovers. I think there's a lot other factors that are involved.
I agree with Paul.
And then the turnovers become relevant to the quarterback discussion a little bit because, like Matisse was just saying, Zappe, you grab him by the ankle, maybe he goes down, whereas maybe Mac tries to do some circus mistake and turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mac is just making too many mistakes that you would see from a rookie now, and it's like you're about to be coming up on your contract extension year, and you're still doing the same things that a rookie would be doing.
And I think that the difference is he's been playing every game, and they're not scoring any points, and he has that press to, I have to make a play here.
Yeah, well, that's just
I have to make a play because we're not scoring, and we're punting, and we're punting, and we're punting, and we're not scoring, and we're not scoring. Whereas Zappe went in for one game and had to endure not scoring.
Yeah.
It's
just like those plays where he's been wrapped up and he just throws the ball out like that. Just it can't happen in the NFL, right?
There's a difference between losing and not turning the ball over and losing and turning the ball
right.
over.
Yeah. And I also say, the goal for the quarterback isn't to just not make mistakes. It's to make plays. And, that's why I didn't really think there was a whole lot of difference between the two performances.
No.
Mac against the Giants and Zappe against the Chargers, to me, was very much the same.
Yeah.
Only you didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And I think the panic, like the footwork and the panic that Mac has, like Zappe doesn't do that. Like when when Khalil Mack is coming,
Zappe
when
has
TJ
been better.
Watt's coming,
Yeah.
He's better in
not
the
panicking.
pocket.
Keeps his eyes downfield a little bit.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job of moving around the pocket early in the game, especially. But at the end of the game, he got sacked 5 times.
Yeah. Anything else, Speed?
Yeah,
Good?
Zappe's going to get himself in trouble with one of those sidearm throws, I predict, in the next game.
Yep.
He's going to do it tomorrow.
Like the one he threw against the Giants late in the game that the linebacker dropped.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of got rid of it and went right to the
Saw
guy,
that.
and the guy dropped it.
A lot this summer.
He's a
lot with that.
gunslinger. All right.
He's a gunslinger.
Thanks, Spee. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah,
It's not ideal to go into these games, like Tamara said, 6-0. Well, who's going to get the 6? I don't know. But it just would be nice to go into one of these games thinking they could win another way.
Yeah,
you had said, you thought that maybe Mac comes out of the bye week. And, I've had that thought, not just with Mac, but the team in general, 3 or 4 times this year, you know what? They're going to go out and they're going to score in their first drive. Then they're going to cause a turnover on the second drive and go up 10-0 or 14-0. And it's just going to be one of those games that are going to unload a season's worth of frustration on some team.
And it just never showed
And
up.
it just never happens.
I mean, probably not totally the same, but maybe a little bit in 2009 with that Tennessee game where they were kind of struggling, and then all of a sudden in the snow here, it was just boom, 50 points. It was 2007 all of a sudden again. I don't know. I've been waiting for those things to happen, but it just hasn't. And I mean, and another big thing I think we got to talk about too is just Ramondre. I mean, it sounds like high ankle sprain, which was what it looked like. Going to be out for a little bit. He's been their best player on offense, right? I mean, and now what do you do? Do you give Kevin Harris a shot? Do you try JaMychal Hasty?
Doesn't matter.
Or does it matter? Or do you? I mean, I think Zeke seemed kind of intrigued by getting carrying the load and really getting a chance to do it. So I don't know, why not? I mean, I'd like to see a look at Kevin Harris, but he seems like an afterthought at this point.
Yeah, they must just not like him very much.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see, kind of to your point, to see what you have. See Kevin Harris. I mean, would have loved to see Kayshon Boutte more, but obviously injuries and things get in the way. But I'm see all the guys that you haven't really had a chance to see before the end of the year to see, okay, what do we have? What do we want to get rid of? What do we want to fix? I feel like it's hard when you can't really see these guys play.
And that's why I want to go to Malik, because I just want what do you have to lose? I just want to see. I just want to see some entertaining football. Honestly, I just want to see some passes, some anything.
Well, passes. I don't know about Malik with the passes.
That's fine. He can juke somebody out of his shoes. I don't care.
It is. I mean,
the key there, I think, is that they need to find a way to stay on the field.
Mm-hmm.
The offense, you need to get some first downs, and then maybe if you get something going, you can throw Malik Cunningham.
Do you think that's what it is, Paul?
Is that 4 3-and-outs in the first half?
You say that, and then I looked up at the scoreboard, and time of possession was pretty equal, which makes no sense to me.
Well, the Chargers didn't move the ball either.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they both had 250 yards of offense.
15 punts total.
Yeah, it's a lot of punting going on in that one.
I'm waiting for our scoregami, honestly. That's all we need.
What are the scoregamis below 10 points?
Well, we Googled yesterday. We thought we were going to get a 0-0 scoregami, but that happened in
9-8?
1948.
Could 9-8 be a scoregami?
Probably.
Is that 4 safeties?
Maybe.
Oh, that's true, 'cause I'm
5'2".
It's
putting up a baseball score.
If the score is, I can't even say it out of my mouth. If the score is 5-2. Oh my God.
Well, El from Wisconsin chimed in on email, said, you all know what would be hilarious if the defense shuts out the Steelers, but the offense throws a pick six and loses the game because of it.
Man.
Stop.
That would be a new low. And that's why I just would like to see the defense score. I don't really I think we're all win. I don't know. I don't really want to win all that much, but I just think it'd be really fun to watch the defense celebrate and score.
Maybe a big man touchdown.
Oh,
Trubisky,
big fatty coming out.
He could give you some opportunities.
You see the whole Najee and Trubisky stuff going on?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Oh, what do we got?
He was a reporter asked Najee, was like, so what do you think of Trubisky's leadership? And he was like, it's okay, I guess. And he goes, is he vocal? And I was like, not me. Najee's like, I guess. It was really bad. They got some stuff going on.
They didn't have any love for him?
So what I would say with that is, that's pretty ironic that a player is asked about someone else's leadership and he poo-poos it. That's terrible leadership,
right?
By Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's true or not.
I can't take Najee Harris seriously anymore because I saw a tweet that says he looks like he's running in jeans.
Well, I didn't want to get into it.
Oh man, he's not going to play tomorrow. Now I want to see it.
Which I think is bad for the Patriots. That if he
Warren's
doesn't play.
better.
Well, not only Warren's better, but if Najee Harris plays and they have Harris and Warren, I know what they'll do. They'll go into the game and say, we're going to run the ball 25 times tonight, and we're going to establish the run, and we're going to do it. I think Harris is more that physical back. Warren's smaller, shiftier, which has always been better against the Patriots. Now maybe they'll look at it and say, we can't ask Jaylen Warren to carry the ball 30 times like we would with both of them together. Maybe they'll throw it. Because if you want to try to run against the Patriots, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Well,
offensively. I'm not saying you're going to lose the game because we all saw last week they still won the game. But
then Deontay Johnson's kind of tuned out apparently.
Oh, God.
He's stuff with him.
Yeah.
So this is going to be part of my rant when I go on my shows
today.
Later. This big thing that Felger has, and Tamara will like this because it's really complimentary of her guy. Who would you rather have been over the last 50 years, the Patriots or the Steelers? And my answer is the Patriots. Totally respecting everything Pittsburgh's done. Great program, as I like to say.
Thank you.
But I'm not enamored with being, in my bad years, quote unquote, going 9-8 and not being a threat. I didn't really have much use for that in 21 when the Patriots were 10-7 and made the playoffs, but they didn't really threaten anybody. And then last year they went 8-9. I don't give Pittsburgh points for avoiding this year. I don't really think there's a whole lot of difference between where the two teams are right now.
You could say that screwed him over in the long run too, because you just take that Big Ben year where his arm is cooked. You finish like us, you might have a new guy.
And I give now listen, I give Tomlin, not sucking up to you, Tamara, but I give Tomlin credit for keeping it together, finding ways to win these games when they're outplayed in a lot of these games. They find a way at the end because they're tough, and they play hard for him and all that stuff. I'm not taking that away from Pittsburgh. They have a great, like I said, they have a great program.
Well, the guys are.
But I don't think they're really all that much closer to contention than the Patriots are.
No, and that's
even though they're 7-5.
And that's what you discovered. I think right going almost into the 2020 season was just the fear of the middle. It's either be a contender or suck. Just don't be in the middle. That's the worst place to be because you're never going to get out of the cycle. And by that token, do you hope that this? I mean, we're not going to. I have no idea what we're in for next offseason, but. Is this is this your chance right here to you don't want to be back at the draft. You want to get this top pick and where you're going to be in the second round, et cetera, all the way down. And you don't have to be back here. You get the pieces and now, we can get back to content. I don't know. It's a huge lift. We'll see how it unfolds with everything now that we're getting ready to face here in the offseason.
What I think is super interesting is that this will be Juju's first time playing the Steelers since he left. He said that in the locker room yesterday.
Big game from Juju.
One catch, 7 yards.
I'm looking for a $150 from Juju.
What cracks me up in regards to that? I don't think we said once that J.C. Jackson was playing the Chargers and made any comment last week about J.C. Jackson playing against the team that just.
I
also
get rid of him fast
didn't think
enough. That he played as well as people sort of he settled in now and had a good game. I didn't see that. I saw him chasing a lot.
In
that game. Jonathan Jones. I thought was really good in that game.
He was.
I thought Bryant was competitive in that game. Jonathan Jones especially, though. I thought he was really good. Mills made a couple of plays in the Chargers game that I haven't really seen all year.
Yep.
I didn't see that really from Jackson. I thought he had one play that he had pretty good coverage on.
He let you know about
and
it.
He let everybody know, let everybody know after the pass was incomplete.
All right, well, our food is here, so we're going to take a little bit of an early break here and eat, and then we'll be right back after this messages.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS, only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon. This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
What's up, everybody? Bailey Zappe had his press conference with the media yesterday. Let's listen to what he had to say.
What are your thoughts about a game in Pittsburgh on Thursday?
I'm excited. It's a good opportunity for us to go out there and, play as a team, play complementary football, and, start playing well as an offense. So I'm excited.
What did you learn from Sunday, and what can you take into Thursday now with that next start?
Yeah, there was some misreads by me, some misthrows by me. There's some things that, I can, better ball placement, things like that. So just been working on that stuff as much as possible today and tomorrow before we head off and try to get ready for Thursday.
How do you fix those things on such a short week?
I guess so, because you don't get as much physical reps, it's more mental, but we try as much as possible, like before or after walkthroughs or whatever we do, to try to just go out there and throw as much as possible, whether it's just walking through, just standing there, just try to throw the ball around.
Billy, you sound a little hoarse. Are you sick at all?
No, I got a horse after the game. I was screaming and everything. Trying to make sure everybody can hear me out there.
What's when you look back at the tape, something you felt like you did better upon review? And you mentioned things obviously weren't problems.
Yeah.
Positive that you didn't expect it.
I would say like the operation as a whole was pretty well by the offense. We never really had, any questions about the plays or anything like that. We got in the huddle, we broke the huddle, we got to the line, and we were rolling. So I think the whole operation, of course, I think there was 2 or 3 instances where, we can fix and move it on to the next game. But other than that, I think it was pretty solid.
Regarding the pre-snap operation, Billy, how much more comfortable are you, confident are you with alerts, making the pre-snap reads and adjustments that you need to do? There's a lot on the plate of the quarterback and the offense.
Yeah, I feel like I get more and more comfortable every week. The more I watch film of the opponent, that also helps. Just the preparation throughout the week and understanding, why we're alerting, why we're killing to plays like that. That always helps. So, this short week, that's really the only thing we have to do now is just mental reps. So that's what I'm really diving into right now.
Bailey, I noticed in the second half of the game you took a lot of shots, specifically to Devontae Parker. I was wondering in terms of that connection, is that the kind of thing where if you see him one-on-one, you have the freedom to take those opportunities? Or were there some times where you felt maybe you locked in on him when there were other opportunities on other parts of the field? Yeah,
that was something that going into halftime that we talked about, that the second half we wanted to push the ball downfield a little bit. And, we have some guys that can, get those 50-50 balls. And, DP is one of those guys where, you kind of put it up anywhere and he has the opportunity to go up and get it. So does Taekwon, and so does really everybody else. So I think that was kind of our mindset, how we just wanted to, attack down the field going into the second half. And, kind of like you said, if it's one-on-one, I kind of like my guy better than their guy. So I'm just going to let them go get it.
Bailey, have you officially been told you're starting on Thursday?
Coaches, made it pretty clear, but I'll let him, announce it to everybody. That's, private right now, and whenever he announces it, that's with him.
What would you say you learned about yourself this season?
A lot, I guess. A lot of things that I can grow on, a lot of things that, I can improve on. But, like I would like to say around here, is just taking it day by day. And that's just, it's very cliche to say that, but, just every day there's something that you can get better at, whether it's, mental things or, physical things, throwing and stuff like that. And there's always ways to get better. And that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah, Sunday was your first start of the season. How much did the opportunity mean to you, especially given, with, not being here on cut down day?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's been a long ride, of course. So to be out there was an amazing opportunity. We didn't get the result that we wanted. So hopefully we can, learn from it, grow from it, and going into Thursday, do everything we can to, do everything I can to put the team in the best possible situation, to win the game.
We heard you say on WEI yesterday that you confirmed you had multiple offers. Getting this opportunity to start the Patriots, so does feel like you kind of made that right decision to stick around?
Yeah, 100%. This is the place I wanted to be. I wanted to play for OB. I wanted to play for Coach Belichick, and I wanted to play with the guys that I've built a relationship with over the last, year and a half, 2 years. So this is where I wanted to be.
Frustration might be the right word, but where are you at with, you guys feel like you do a lot of good things in the games, you felt like you did, and that just breaking that barrier, just starting to knock on, put the ball in the end zone and get points. How close do you feel that you guys are as a unit to it?
Yeah, we're close. We talk about that a lot. It's just one or two things, that happen that, kind of halter from scoring, and we just got to fix those one or two things. And once we do that, I feel like we'll be able to start putting points on the board.
Billy, obviously you guys want to win and do what's best for the team, but how do you look at these next few weeks just for you as your future in the NFL? What are you for that?
Yeah, I mean, nobody really, asks any questions when you start winning. So as long as we just go out there and, do the best we can and put points on the board as far as an offense and start winning as a team, I think, that'll all kind of handle itself.
Bailey, the fact that you're up at the podium today and there's not as much uncertainty from a public perspective there of who's the guy right now, how much does that kind of help you just embrace that role?
Yeah, I mean, that helps. Like I said, I'll wait for the official announcement from Coach, but I try to prepare every week, like I'm the guy, so nothing different for me.
How much does it help you improve that from start to finish? In the last game, you were under center the whole time, and now going into this week of preparation and meetings, film, practice, what time you guys have before you leave for Pittsburgh, that you're the guy that's leading the offense at quarterback now? Yeah,
I mean, of course it's different, but you gotta approach every week. Like Coach always says, everybody has to be ready to play. So you have to be ready no matter what. You got to prepare like you're going to be thrown in there, whether it's the second play or whether it's the last play. So, that's kind of the mentality that we have here. And, just no matter what's going on, you just prepare to play.
Billy, what time was it when you first started looking at the Steelers?
Probably Sunday night is when I kind of looked back at their Cardinals game.
11?
I mean,
11:30?
Probably like 4:30 in the morning. I don't know. Sometime after our game.
How about playing there, like in that atmosphere? David was talking about it. Road game in Pittsburgh Thursday night. I'm looking forward to that atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I was able to be there last year. Of course, I was inactive last year, so I got to, kind of see it from outside view, like kind of like a fan view. And it was pretty awesome. That field, I don't know, what was it, Heinz Field. I mean, it's pretty legendary. So the Steelers organization is an awesome organization. They've been good for a long time. So to be able to play them at their places, is pretty unreal.
What are those conversations like with Bill O'Brien on the sideline during the game? I know you said yesterday on the radio that your relationship with him has grown a lot over these last couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of back and forth. Whatever he sees, he lets me know. And then, if I'm seeing something on the field that, if they've showed it on film or haven't shown it on film, I'm kind of giving him that, just throwing each other off, throwing stuff off each other's brains. And just, majority of the time it's, after the series, we're looking at the iPads. If I miss a read or miss a coverage, he shows me like what I can look at better or what I can, what tendencies that they're showing that can kind of help me pre-snap. So it's just kind of dissecting the previous drive and then kind of moving on what we're going to do the next drive.
What do you feel like your comfort level is throwing to Juju, Parker, some of those guys that maybe didn't have as many reps in the summer at times?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with those guys, 100%. They're great players, and, it makes it easy for a guy, for a quarterback. You can just put it really anywhere, and those guys are going to, make a play on it. So, those guys are good receivers, and I'm excited to be throwing to those guys.
How do you go about handling the pressure and not making something too big where that it becomes a hindrance?
Yeah, I mean, control what you can control. So it's, that's what we say around here, I guess. I'm not really big into those things. Like, I'm really cool, calm, and collected. That's kind of how, my dad, brought me up. My mom brought me up. So I don't really try to dive into, trying to overwhelm myself or anything like that. I try to control what I can control. And whatever my read is, I try to do my read. And if something happens and I, make a mistake, I try to go back and learn from it. I try to really not dive into it and ride the roller coaster. I just try to stay, level.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
He's saying, woohoo, Fred's back. Does that mean we will get American emails read today?
Oh.
So are you favoring
Makes sense.
the out-of-country emails?
Yes.
I read the
Makes
good
sense.
ones that come in.
It's like that guy in the guy
so
in
no
Norwood.
American ones are good.
No, I read.
Yes.
No, Jim's
Yes.
aren't good. I read the good ones that come in.
It's like the guy in Norwood, Fred, that was originally from the UK.
Yeah.
Eric doesn't like him. Like, why would you ever go from there to here?
Right.
Fred, I can't wait till the next time you're not here because I'm not hosting.
Oh.
Tough guy Paul can go sit in that seat and do that.
Let him do that?
Well, you guys can fight it
Tough
out.
guy
I don't
Paul
care.
can sit over there and
You're
bring
the
all the
boss.
energy he wants.
You're the boss.
Eric is upset.
So take some vacation next week.
What?
Tough
What,
guy
I-
Paul can sit over there
What,
and
I
bring
never-
all the energy he wants.
I never dug a hole before. It's
Yeah.
not that hard to read
Go ahead.
emails and take calls. I'll
ahead.
do it the next time.
All right.
No problem.
Is that the energy you're looking for?
That's another great moment from
Believe it or not, it's officially December, and with the holidays right around the corner, you might be realizing your house needs a holiday spruce. With Bob's Discount Furniture's unbelievable prices and flexible financing on mattresses, furniture, decor, and more, you're sure to impress your guests with comfort and style. Get the ultimate home team advantage with Bob's, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. A pretty good job by me on that read, I think. No, not great.
Couple bobbles in the middle.
Bobbles
I
in
don't
the
know,
middle.
little pitchy dog. Not gonna lie.
B minus.
I'm still trying to. I know they're probably right.
Did you hear the way Eric talked to me?
Oh man,
That clip?
tough guy. Called you tough guy twice.
And you wonder why he has not reached out and talked to me since he left.
I don't know where you're from, Paul, but those are fighting words out in Holliston. The sticks of Holliston out there. Oh, tough
Yeah,
guy.
He used to get so mad when Fred started picking on him, and if I jumped in,
Oh,
it was way
he
worse.
got
He
to
would
go
look at me
you.
and goes, "It's way worse coming from you."
Wouldn't it be kind of fun to bring Eric back just like for right now in like a random show? Just like, so what do you think of the Patriots? What have you been doing?
I think it would be great to find out if he knows what their record is.
Right.
He probably has no idea.
Does he have any?
No
I bet he
clue.
completely
tuned out.
Completely tuned out. Yep. Probably. Oh, we got a question here. No, I won't. We'll get back to him. I think Eldred heard us say his name earlier. He's on the phone now. Hey, Eldred, what's going on?
Hey, fellas, lady, how y'all doing?
Hi.
Okay, I got two questions. Okay, did y'all believe anything he just said
Who dat?
about a couple things? Get right, that we can score, we can win.
No.
Oh, you're talking about Zappe's press
thing.
conference
We weren't listening to it live, but
yeah, they were probably close a couple times to being able to get in position to score some points. Were they close to scoring 30? You know, in being a representable offense? No, representative? I don't think so. I don't believe that.
And Paul, I'm gonna sell you on Michael Penix. Okay, strong arm, throws in the
Agreed.
rain and the wind in Washington, just like
Agreed.
you do in New England.
Absolutely agree.
Pinpoint accuracy, short, long, and deep, and he can move.
Agree. Agree for the most part. I like Penix.
Agree. Yeah, but see, like I said, everybody want Caleb. If we get Caleb, fine. But if we win and we lose those three quarterbacks, those three right there, you know, that's going to be something else.
I also think
I
it's
don't
in.
trust
Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I thought you were done. I apologize. Go ahead. Finish.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I also think it was interesting that a lot of people were talking about Shedeur Sanders and that
no,
he says he's staying, but a lot of the I don't know if they're current GMs, personnel guys, but the word is that if he did come out, he would unequivocally be the third quarterback behind Williams and May.
Got a lot of people decommitting from Colorado too.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, the word is he's absolutely staying for another year at Colorado. But I just thought it was interesting that people. I don't look at him that way. I think he's an intriguing prospect, but I'm not sure I would put him in with Williams and May as the slot him in. I mean I like Daniels a lot better than Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
Go ahead,
What's so intriguing about May? Because I see May, like I said, I'm down here in North Carolina. I see the ACC, and he's not. To me, he's not that impressive.
No,
he's not. And especially when Florida State got a hold of that butt. He's just not. But I can't see the intrigue.
No.
Yeah, I think he is a good combination of
thanks, Eldred.
Mobility. Not that he is like Michael Vick, but good combination of mobility, size, pocket presence, arm strength. I think he has. I mean, to me, there's no comparison between him and Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why people really like Drake May. I can see there's a lot there to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with Paul. I think he's intriguing. I think he has like a bunch of different tools in his tool belt that I think, with time and the right coaching, they could make him great. But it's just tough right now, I think.
I'm going to be real. Mitch Trubisky ruined all quarterbacks from UNC for me.
That's a fair statement. I think that's
what do
a
you think
fair
of
statement.
C.J. Stroud?
He's a baller.
Yeah. The guys that preceded him at Ohio State didn't ruin all Ohio State quarterbacks for him?
Justin Fields didn't ruin it
I
for
just
me.
wanted to make sure you were consistent.
No.
So that means you don't like Sam Howell either then.
He is okay. I mean, he carved us up, but
yeah.
But he went in the 4th round, right?
Yeah, he went late.
Yeah,
he's a late pick.
Yeah. But he's a lot smaller than Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
I remember spending like all the 2021 spring
He
on
said
those
not
quarterbacks. On those quarterbacks. So I feel like I didn't expect to be back here this soon, but I feel like 2021 was kind of like a little bit of a prep for like quarterback research, figuring out what you like. And I mean, when you're in the middle of the draft, though, you're kind of stuck. I mean, middle of the first round, you're stuck with kind of what falls to you. But now it's like,
well, if you're not aggressive,
they've got a real choice, right? Well, of course, but now they've got a real choice here, especially if they're at second overall, and there's just a lot to consider.
I'd rather whiff on Williams than whiff on May.
I mean, it's like you got to whiff on one of those guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, whoever it takes,
you
be
can't
a bust,
whiff on somebody who's like, what? That guy?
Like if you take Caleb Williams and he stinks, I'd rather have that happen than take Drake May and he stinks.
Framingham State. Well, who's this guy? What? Who are we drafting?
Yeah, long snapper.
Yeah, I think you have to be aggressive and go up and get your guy if you feel like that he is the one. And I think in this situation, like it's great to have both of those quarterbacks who have multiple tools in their tool belt and they're not just one-dimensional.
Yeah, May is much bigger than Howell, by the way. 6'4", 6'1".
Let's go back to the phones. We got Manny down in New Bedford. Hey, Manny.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, what's your take? I know we talk about Belichick. There's a chance he's not going to be there next year, but how do we feel about Troy Brown? I'm not really too sold on him. I think there's a lot of hiccups in that wide receiver core. I feel like these receivers are getting no separation. I get it; they're not like the best talent, but there's a lot of hiccups in that core there. What do we feel about that?
I mean, Fred's brought it up a lot. I mean, it's how can you feel good about any of the offensive coaches right now? I mean, nobody's really excelled, and I mean, Troy's been here for a few years, and you haven't really been able to develop a wide receiver. I mean, although I will say, I mean, Jacoby Myers was pretty good, and he's been pretty good, and Demario Douglas has been okay. I mean, I think if Evan was here, he would push back a little bit on just some of the miscues that Douglas has had as a rookie, but I think we're all sick of like not accepting those. Like, you just like, look, he's going to make some mistakes. He's a rookie. I'd much rather see him play and make mistakes than not play and make no mistakes, Yeah.
I can't tell whether it's bad coaching or bad scouting. Like, were N'Keal Harry and Tyquan Thornton just bad picks, and they're just uncoachable, or can they be coached but Troy Brown's not able to give them what they need?
And one thing, like even like Nelson Aguilar, like I've watched him with the Ravens a little bit this year.
Looks like a new player.
He's like a different guy. Like he does. I'm not to say that he's good,
I do
but
think it's part of it. I think the development part is an element. Now they probably missed on both of those guys that you mentioned with Harry and Thornton, but. Yeah. If they went somewhere else, might they be more effective?
Goes both ways.
I hate to say it, but I just like I would love to see Tyquan Thornton just do something. Like I don't know, he seemed like he was finally on the verge last week, and like I kind of have given up hope on him. But as I said on the show yesterday, like I think they could use him better. Like I think he has something, and that's like I almost wonder with like a Nelson Aguilar, like. If you had him in the right system and he was in the right spots, like could he contribute? Like he's the only one right now with Douglas out that looks like he moves like an NFL receiver. Everybody else is kind of plodding.
But do you think that there'll be any chance of him being like a real threat consistently, 6, 7, 8 catches a game.
No, I think he's probably a ceiling of like
like
Bethel
last
Johnson.
week. Like last week, he catches that ball.
Yeah,
that to me, that's his ceiling.
Yeah. No, and I just like to see that. I guess is
oh no, that would be better than what we're getting.
But again, to your point, I think third or fourth receiver, like a guy with some speed and some length, but somebody that it feels like you definitely have to avoid putting him in, double moves and things where he has to run nuanced routes. Like it doesn't.
I heard Phil
like
Perry talking about that yesterday, and about how, he talked to numerous personnel guys after that draft who all told him that he was a 5th-round pick at best.
That's what we said.
And I don't get it. It just wasn't their guy. Like it's not their kind of guy. Like, and I mean, there's just that whole draft was a head scratcher now in retrospective, but. I don't know. You always they take those guys and you're like, all right, I don't see it, but I'll let them go out on the field and see it. I mean, kind of the same with Strange, but then, it gets confirmed.
Well, now you see Pickens tomorrow. So he was an option. So
even Pierce is made more plays down the
players,
field. And Sky Moore is a totally different kind of player. He's more of a versatile Mecole Hardman kind of guy.
Right,
but they find ways to run run the ball with him a little bit, like they did with Tyquan last week. He's not going to be a huge volume guy for the Chiefs, but he's been active for them.
But it's like,
and he's been a little disappointing for Kansas City.
But there's been a few guys like that. And I mean, last year they won the Super Bowl kind of with that same kind of you have the core of Kelsey and Mahomes, and and they got to have it moments. 9 times out of 10, they're going to have
had a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
But but then you have the complementary pieces that you never quite know who's going to do what, and I think in that kind of thing, when you have maybe to the Patriots' point,
my guys
get
were
those
pretty
guys.
good for them. That you and Evan yelled at me and told me to stay over in the corner.
Who was that?
Rasheed Rice.
Oh yeah. I know.
I didn't see it. I don't see it.
I didn't see it.
They went, go over there. You don't grind. You don't grind tape like me. Go over there.
All 22.
I didn't grind it, but no, I don't know. We're getting ready to get into all this again. I can't
I'm
wait.
not.
I can't wait.
No, that's the best part about picking in the top 5, or top 3, hopefully, is you don't have to do that.
No, it's gonna be this guy. I mean, and that's why I don't want to commit to a guy right now. I feel like Eldred's he's on. All right, you're a Penix guy from here to 4.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought that I was anti. I'm not picking Penix at 2.
I'm anti-Penix,
but I think he's fine. I don't look at him like Caleb Williams. I don't really think that's a shot at Michael Penix.
I
don't think he has that kind of.
That's what scares me.
Injuries.
Yeah.
Well, we got a great offensive line.
You guys know a lot about injuries, the 2 ACL part of it. Does that make him more susceptible to tearing an ACL?
I don't know.
I asked that without.
I don't know. I mean,
look,
and I don't know the answer on that either. My question would be: does he take unnecessary hits? Is he, does he break down? Does he not protect himself well? That would be more the question. I don't think just in and of having an injury necessarily makes it that he's going to get it again. But does it signal some kind of, I don't even know what kind of place they were happening on. You know.
I feel like you would have to get him in an offense that, 1, has a good offensive line, so he doesn't feel like he has to run for his life every single time. But then 2, I feel like he couldn't be in a system where he was designed to run a bunch like Justin Fields. I feel like you would probably have to protect him a little bit more, kind of like what the Bills are trying to do with Josh Allen, where they're like, I don't want you running for your life every single play. Yeah.
Mike McCarthy had to have an emergency appendectomy today.
Oh.
Showing up Sunday, though.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
he plans on coaching Sunday.
I wonder if his doctors would agree with that.
Thoughts and prayers. Let's go down to Australia. Neek, what's going on, Neek?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
I just got a question for Paul and Mike.
All right.
Hypothetically, if they draft, say, Williams or May and then get a receiver, is it going to look any different with Billy O'Brien running the offense, or do you guys think they need to get someone else in with a new scheme like Ben Johnson or someone else? Because it seems like Billy O'Brien's scheme seems a bit past, and the only player that could run it was Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
I would like to see the scheme change. I don't mind if Bill O'Brien changes scheme and he stays, but I don't want to run the Ron Earhart offense anymore. I'm kind of done with that. I mean, they've been running for 20-plus years. Now they won 6 Super Bowls with that offense. Not diminishing it. I just think that it's kind of past its expiration
Well, it's just
date.
what about the offenses doesn't work? That's, I guess, what
I think relying on the pinpoint decision making of the quarterback and receiver on every play is
too much.
Something
on the
that is kind of proven to be unique to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a lot of success when the guy is flawless running the operation.
And when he is, you tend to put it more on the receivers, that the receivers
Right.
can't pick the offense up.
So, and then I looked at it this way. I was starting to think about this a little bit. Do you remember how we used to have fun? You know, Tease, you were probably a little younger, when some of these guys, but when it was like Donald Hayes coming in and, Joey Galloway and Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, and it was like, Chad Ochocinco. These dummies. They can't get, now no one can get it. Now no one gets it.
Not even the quarterbacks can
No,
get
I'm
it.
talking about the receivers. Like, no one really is making the right Evan is coming in every Tuesday, and we're talking about Demario Douglas looked like he kind of was in the wrong spot. Or Tyquan Thornton is stumbling coming out of his route because he looks a little unsure of himself. Or, and maybe it's because these guys aren't any good, and those guys were obvious. I mean, when we're talking about Joey Galloway and Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne, those are three guys with Hall of Fame talent. Now, they're not all in the Hall of Fame, but they're Hall of Fame talents. They knew how to play. Ochocinco knew how to play. Maybe this is just a little too hard on everybody, and it wasn't for everybody. It was more for a unique skill set of guys, and I just, like when you ask me, what about the offense do you not want to do? I don't want to rely on, everybody being on the same page pre and post snap.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but I mean, I tie it again to like last year and like the notion of we're going to simplify the offense. Now, I think that got lost in the fact that it was Matt Patricia and Joe Judge doing the job of simplifying the offense, but I think all of us were kind of attracted to that.
It's one thing I won't criticize Belichick for. I think he recognized the fact that he needed to change the offense a little bit. I only criticize how he tried to do it.
And so how did that manifest itself now with Bill O'Brien? Did they just say, well, we're getting complicated again because it's Bill O'Brien and that's just kind of what he does? Or did they say, look, it didn't work great last year, but we want to keep it simple?
It was my contention that they had to change the offense when Judge and Patricia were here because they didn't know the offense.
Right.
To implement it. Whereas O'Brien's back, he can do the same offense because he already ran it.
Which makes me wonder if Bill was to stick around in in one of these different universes, like in the multiverse of Patriots 2024 multiverse. There is one multiverse where Bill is here for sure. Would he try to simplify again?
Yeah.
Or
they also didn't change the offense all that much, by the way. I mean, just according to the offensive linemen.
Right. But I don't know. There's just so much to offenses, and I mean, it would be great to get an offensive coordinator in here and somebody who could actually tell you how they were trying to simplify it. Was it
just find a new system and have someone come in that knows the system, and then everybody's on the same level. You implement it from the ground floor.
Well, it always sounds great when you have like the Air Coryell offense. I think is one where it's just like it's a 6-5-2. So like just the first guy runs a 6 route, this guy runs a 5, and this guy runs a 2. It's just like it makes instant sense to you. And then when you hear some of like the Patriots stuff and how fluid it is and if it's this, you got to go there, and if it's that, you got to go here.
And that's what I'm talking about. And I know there's an element of option routes to all these systems. It's not always automatic, but I do feel like there's more on the quarterback especially, but the quarterback and the receiver to make those decisions on the fly. I think that makes it a little bit more challenging for these guys.
I feel like what they have right now, they're not capable of doing those things on the fly. Like, I feel like you saw it in Zappe too, like where there were so many opportunities where he could have gotten a delay of game, but just missed it. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's why the wide receivers have been so confused and in the wrong spot or in the same spot as somebody else. It just
gotta dumb it down a little.
And how many times do you feel like this offense has just been like snap, catch, throw, completion? Like, you know what I mean? Like just happening that quick. Like it just feels like those plays are gone, and it's always like going through a progression and the chaos happening, and then the last second they kind of get it off. Oh, boy.
Drop screen.
Well, we got lots of emails coming in here.
Screen, slant, run off tackle.
Lots of emails.
Hitting them in the hands.
Many emails here.
Why don't you read
some,
okay.
Mike? Thank you, Paul. I was trying to cue you there. Kyle from Pembroke. Good afternoon. I think benching Ryland would be a mistake. It's obviously struggling, and having an experienced kicker on the practice squad to talk to could be valuable, but just like basketball, he needs to see one go in to start building back up his confidence, especially as a rookie.
I like that comparison because I feel like, a 3-point shooter. If you're just having like an off couple of games, I feel like it can be tough if you get yanked and then you just don't see the court again for 6 games, because I feel like you lose your flow. You get cold.
And once again, what's the worst that happens if he keeps it? Like, we're gonna lose. Like, it's different if this was happening.
Well, that's what I said. If they were 10-2, I would totally understand.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to cost us a game here. You know, we can't afford it. They can't afford to play through a young guy's struggles.
Yeah, I mean, you spent the pick on him,
Right.
so let's see what we can do with it.
Alex in Raleigh, North Carolina. I want to write in and say that the old dog Belichick needs some new tricks. I don't want to see him bringing back Josh. I don't want to see him trade out of the top 3, which is where we will end up this season. I don't want to see him bringing back old QBs who he tried to work before. I saw a tweet, which I know doesn't mean much, that The Athletic says if Belichick is still around, he could end up bringing back Jimmy G as our quarterback upon being released from the Raiders. A lot of what-ifs here, but if this happens, Bill needs to go immediately. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think there's any chance. I did see that report like last week. I don't think there's any chance.
No, and that was like a throwaway line in a Jeff Howe thing that he was just kind of positing like things that could happen.
See, something that'd be intriguing for a vet is maybe Kirk off the Achilles.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that, like, you know, maybe you take Maserati Marv and then you get the old guy. Maserati Marv. No, I don't know. Just Kirk, I've never been that much of a fan of him, but
No,
you might be able to get him
me
on the
neither,
cheap.
but he would obviously be the best available of the veterans.
Oh, T's getting a little love here on the email. It just is from Christian with a TIAN. Says, more Matisse, less pin pull Lazar. All right. Thank you, Christian.
You should send Evan a little text on that.
Of course. You can forward it to him.
I will. Thank you.
We got a little conspiracy theory here from Moises.
Oh, I love it.
Is there any validity to my theory that Belichick wanted to tank on the 2020 season? The fan base would have excused a bad season because the COVID season was weird. The Pats went through free agency and a draft without adding talent to an offensive roster that I think is worse than the current roster at their best. Did they think Jarrett Stidham could be the starter in the league, or did they not? Did they know no one would want to sign Cam Newton? Was Cam signed to make it seem like they were at least trying to win, but Cam played better with that team than they thought he would? And let's not forget, the offense consisted of Demir Bird, N'Keal Harry, 34-year-old Julian Edelman, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene, and Ryan freaking Izzo. Sorry, Claire.
Yeah,
we wanted him to, right?
I think people wanted them to tank, and he wouldn't.
I also always
How
say
did that team win that many games though? Now, like
Cam Newton's a
seems,
dog.
Like this team seems like an all-star team.
They were like, at least it was like, I mean, if I say it was miserable last year, but looking back, it was kind of fun. But all I say is, what was that? The Trevor Lawrence year, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
If you get the first round pick, gun to your head, I don't know if Bill takes Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry.
If they got the number 1 overall pick,
I don't know.
he would have taken.
I just don't know.
If it was the number 1 overall pick, he would have.
You gotta.
Yeah. Now I'm not telling you he would have taken any of the other 4. If he was higher than 15, I don't know when or if he would have taken any of those 4. But if he got number 1, he would have taken Trevor Lawrence.
You would hope so.
Yeah.
But would it be the same situation? That's all we're saying.
Yeah. Back to the phones. Jody down in Atlanta. Hey, Jody.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Much. How are you?
Doing good. I have a little scenario we hadn't talked about very much on here, but is there a scenario where, and I'm not saying I want this to happen, but I could just see it happening, that they make Bill O'Brien the head coach because he has familiarity with the system that's, you know, how the Patriot way is, and Kraft's are comfortable with them. Then they promote Draw Mayo to D coordinator, and we kind of see almost like a run back with the same staff instead of going outside and getting people from outside the organization.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the possibility for that would be the opposite of that. Mayo is the head coach, and they keep O'Brien as the offensive coordinator. Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that's going to happen, but I think it's on the table.
I feel like it's on the table. I just wouldn't want the Patriot way and the same staff to still be here. I think some people need to be switched up, like for example, Troy Brown. I think that change is needed. I don't know if it's in the scouting department or, you know, different positions on staff, but I think that you could end up with the same type of bad roster, bad team if you just keep everything the same and remove Bill.
Thanks, Jody. Appreciate it.
It's in play, Jody. I mean, I do. I think there's a chance that Bill Belichick is among the only ones to go. There'll be others to go, but I could see them keeping a structure
but
of
I like
O'Brien
your thing, Paul.
and Mayo.
I like your thing where you just have to point out, and I'll read an email here in a second, like you're just going to take out
The best part.
The best part, and expect it to be different?
Like, to me, the best part of everything that they have right now is Belichick's football mind. You know, because I believe me, I take as many shots as everybody else. I don't ever say that Bill doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to X's and O's in football. I don't. I've never said that, and I never will. So you're taking that part out of the equation by leaving everybody else here.
Yeah.
I would not do that.
Well, Trent from Sylvan Lake feels kind of similar. He says, the Bill hate is unreal. Why would you ever fire a defensive-minded head coach and then replace him with his own DC? It makes zero sense. Nobody even knows what Mayo does for this team, but don't let that stop all the spoiled fans from wanting him. Either keep Bill in the defense that he has built and successfully run, which would be my vote, or do an entire teardown and start from scratch.
Yeah, in fairness, I think that's what most people want, is the entire teardown from scratch.
Oh, this is to you, Paul, and this is continuing along. Paul, do you really think with one of these rookie QBs next season, this team could go 2-10 again? Come on, bud, that's crazy. Bill's never gone 2-10 before, and with a real QB, the team would be a playoff contender this season. So why blame it all on Bill?
What are we talking about? Next year's record? I never said anything about next year's record.
I don't know. He called you Bud, though. Come on,
no,
Bud.
but I mean, did I say that if they take Caleb Williams, they're going to go 2-10 again next year? I don't know.
No.
How
No,
ready?
he said, do you think if we take him, we'll go 2-10?
Can I see what else do they do? If you put Caleb Williams on this team, this current roster, you have a good chance of going 2-10.
I agree.
Because I don't think this is all Mac Jones's fault. I've never said that.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I think it's a lot of Mac Jones's fault, but I don't think it's all Mac Jones's fault.
Back to the phones. Jafar's out in Minnesota. Hey, Jafar.
Hey, this is the first time calling in.
Nice.
Been listening for about 7 years. And I heard on the podcast not that long ago you guys were talking about putting everything on Mac Jones and, maybe they're doing too much. But I feel that most quarterbacks that have won in the past, 10 years, they know how to do everything in terms of reading the defense and making the right checks. And I feel like everything is on them. But I don't know if Bill Belichick has been doing too much too early with these quarterbacks. I feel that in order for you to win the Super Bowl, you need to have everything on you. You need to have multiple plays that you can check to correctly. But I just don't know if we do that too soon or if there's too much too early. But I feel like it's a give and take on that. I could take that off the air.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jafar.
I think a lot of that's in play. Mike, what do you think? I mean, I already talked about how I think it's a little complicated, the system.
Yeah, no, it is. I wish I knew more, I think is what, I wish I could really pull out the threads and really know what,
ask me, I'll let you know.
How complicated it is. I hear everything you say, and I think it was something I always liked about the Patriots offense, and in theory was like, I think it's ideal to imagine that your offense can adjust after the snap to what the defense does. And, I think in a perfect world, once you're able to execute that, it's hard to go back and just say, let's just do what we do. And certainly they're getting the feedback now based on the performances that guys can't really do it. And so at some point you have to just say, look, we don't have the team that can execute this anymore. Right. As much as it feels like it would be ideal to be able to challenge defenses that way so that no matter what they're spinning on us post-snap, we have a bunch of players that can all adjust, but it just seems too far away. Everything seems disjointed. They're not able to stack drives. They have a historic level of points right now in a bad way. So, but is the answer just to completely scrap the system and go back to, and completely go to something different that, with new coaches? Maybe, that might be what it has to be.
Yeah, and it's going to depend on how the Crafts want to proceed. If they in fact move on from Belichick, what they want, what they're comfortable with. But yeah, if you're asking me what I would rather have, it would be a complete tear down and start over. And I would understand and recognize that that's probably going to mean back to the guy who I think he thinks he was making fun of me, but I agree with it. Like, you're probably going to struggle again next year.
Yeah.
And if the rookie quarterback is really good, then maybe you win 6 games. Instead of 2 that they have now. But I don't have any illusions that you're just going to, make a whole new system and snap your fingers and be a contender. It takes time.
The best scenario for a rookie quarterback would be the Texans right now. Just new coach, new
right.
quarterback.
And there's,
it all works.
I think that and I know the AFC South is, record-wise, they're doing much better, but I don't think it's a great division. I think Tennessee's terrible. Sorry, Mike. I think that the Colts are much like the Texans, benefiting from, like the best team in that division is not unbeatable. You know what I mean? Like, so you can go into a game with Jacksonville and you can expect to win it. You might not win. I think Jacksonville's the best team in that division. You got games that could go either way in the other 4 games. And I also think the Patriots could benefit from that a little bit next year because you're going to get the 4th place team in a couple of divisions, plus the NFC one, right? Like those games that need to be decided. Like they'll play. What are the divisions they play next year, Mike? They play the
West.
North. They play the AFC North.
Getting off my top of my head, I gotta look.
NFC West.
In the NFC West, but I mean, what are the
So 2024 they play. They play the AFC South.
Okay, so they play the South next year. So they'll get the 4th place team in the AFC North and the 4th place team in the AFC West, plus the 4th place team in the NFC division that they don't play. Whatever the rotation is. So that's 3 games against fellow last place teams.
Mm-hmm.
That can help you. That can help you sort of, like I said, go from 2 or 3 wins to 5 or 6.
So Chad's got a game. I kind of like this one. Would you rather get the rookie QB of your choosing, but you have to stick with BB, or get the wide receiver of your choosing, and they have an MVP season, but you have to figure out the HC and the QB situation in free agency or elsewhere, not the draft?
I have he turns out to be a great receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take the known commodity of a great player. I'll take.
And what if you get the quarterback and it's just the same thing?
Right.
You're not getting him the help he needs. And now we're talking about this in 2028. Same thing.
And I would be scared that he would be mishandled again and not given the proper resources to be great, like offensive line help and talent around him, like weapons and everything. So I would definitely have to go with the wide receiver. I feel like that's a safer bet.
All right, we got another game here.
Love games. Good job, peeps.
Gosh, he said, I came up with a quick Guess Who game that will hopefully lift up everyone's spirits, especially Mike. Do I seem down today?
Yes. You always seem down.
Depressed.
You are wicked handsome, though. I say that all the time.
Paul, you're making me blush.
I know.
All right, Patriot number 1. This is there's going to be some hints. Matisse, you're on the spot here. I don't know if you're going to be able to get any of these. I played at tight end for the Patriots for 9 years wearing 87.
Oh, shit. Is that a trick question?
No, you can. Did you just say, oh? You can. You're only allowed one guess, so if you're wrong, you're wrong.
All right, you want hint 2? Hint 2.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I ended my career with only playing for one other team outside of the Patriot organization.
Okay, so I'm going to say Ben Coates.
Yeah, I was leaning Ben Coates,
ding,
too.
Ding, ding, ding. Although Gronk not
trick question.
I don't think he did 9, but one team, and good, Paul.
Ben
good.
So that's what he was probably looking for. He's trying to obviously say Gronk. I thought the obvious was Coates. I didn't even think of Gronk.
I knew it was one of the two.
That was typical Paul with the CTE. I forget the guy
go
who
right
just
to the
played,
90s.
and I go right back to my era.
Hint number 1, I wore number 24 for the Patriots during my tenure. All right, so you can process some of those names.
See, now I'm ignoring Stephon Gilmore and thinking Ty Law, but go ahead.
After leaving the Patriots, I went on to play corner for 3 more teams in the NFL.
Ty Law.
Yeah, Ty Law.
The great Ty Law.
No.
Okay, I'm out.
Out of my whole time spent in New England, there were only 2 years I made the Pro Bowl and first team All-Pro, and only 1 season where I was the league leader in INTs. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Wait, I know this
At
one.
number 24, he's a cornerback. Not too long ago. You can do it, Tamara.
Is it JC?
No.
Only 24.
Who?
Stephon Gilmore.
I said it was Lauro Gilmore.
A reverse trick right here.
It wasn't a reverse trick.
I wanted that for you. I wanted that for you.
He's played for 3 teams since. Oh yeah.
We gave him away for a bag of chips.
Panthers, Colts, and
Not a
Cowboys.
bag of chips, Matisse.
Yeah, a bag of chips.
I'm the best corner on this team.
Nobody on this planet's better than me.
He's so humble. Hint 1, I signed with the Patriots after playing with the Dolphins. Oh, this is kind of a tricky one. Okay. I was a linebacker who only spent 4 seasons with the Pats, and I accumulated 22.5 sacks during my time with the Patriots. I'm going to give this one to you guys because it's confusing.
Can you give me a hint?
He isn't most known for the Dolphins. He played for the Dolphins after here. I don't think this is the hit number one might be correct.
Landon Roberts?
No, he played with another team in the NFC first. He had 22.5 sacks, 4 seasons.
I missed the sacks part.
Calvin Noy?
Calvin Noy, yeah.
There you go.
So I think it was a little bit of a mistake there in the email.
Is he playing for anyone
with the
right
Ravens.
Yeah, he signed with the Ravens. And I saw Logan Ryan signed with San Francisco yesterday.
Is Harmon going to sign somewhere next? Like,
I thought Harmon was still in the league.
Yeah, no, I think he's
Lions?
maybe Chicago
Falcons?
or he was.
Tell
No,
ya,
he's been around.
When you go 2-10, you sort of lose sight of the personnel around the league.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like I feel like they could have kind of used Deron Harmon this year as like a free safety type, but I don't know. Maybe he's
everybody
past.
tells me the defense.
He doesn't have his green bananas, but
defense is like lights out. Now we need Deron Harmon.
Well, they were, I know, Paul, how much you love the EPA stats, and they're 31st.
I got this today from my
in
nephew.
EPA against what is it? Steaks?
Yeah, it's a little Omaha Steaks gift package, holiday gift package.
You feel good about Christmas this year? You doing a good job? You gonna stock up on some presents there for the loved ones?
I did get a couple of things that she didn't tell me about, so I do feel good. I always feel good when there's something that she didn't have to necessarily drop a bunch of hints about. But yeah, I have some work to do based on my birthday missteps.
I hate buying Christmas gifts. Like no one else has to buy gifts for someone else on their birthday.
Well, you could buy them before your birthday.
No, it's so annoying. I hate it.
I enjoy it when I mean, it's rare, but when I have that one thing that I know that someone's going to really like and not expect, it doesn't happen all the time. But when I come up with something that I know is going to be a hit, I really enjoy buying
I did
gifts
too,
for
and I
people.
thought last year that present for me was tickets to the Stevie Nicks Billy Joel concert, which we decided not to go to because it was raining.
It didn't pan out for you.
Didn't pan out. Elle from Wisconsin. It worries me a bit how much I agree with Dark Deuce, but I really think nothing on this team is good enough. I know he's not here, but Evan is crazy for wanting to make Mayo the DC and hire an offensive coach. You're going to hire someone and then not let them pick their own DC? A new coach will be looking over his shoulder all the time, talking about meddling ownership.
Yeah, I haven't really gotten into it this week because it's not the time, because the defense has been perfectly fine. Like, I think, when you love 10, 10, and 6, it's just not the time. I agree with the sentiment of that email. I don't think you need to keep Gerard Mayo in order to keep the defense playing at the level it's playing. Like, I think their defense is fine. I don't, like, is he the only guy that, it's just because of the Belichick's in Gerard Mayo that they're playing well?
Yeah.
Like, I think that somebody else could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that was the point we
I don't
made
see
yesterday.
game-changing plays.
There aren't game-changing defenses, really. I mean, maybe a couple, but I don't think that the bar is so high that, and I mean, maybe if you were coming off one of those seasons like 2003 or something where it's just like, my God, this team is clicking on all cylinders on defense. But, I mean, I honestly think, like I was just about to say, like, I think they're 31st in EPA against the pass. So, I mean, it's not like...
Is it that low?
It's really low. It just came out today, and, they send us the little thing.
Can't believe I bit my tongue for 2 days.
So, it's not perfect. And, I mean, it's
I just think it's
definitely
easy to
something
look at the points sometimes and just say that, this is what it is. It's like I said, I think during the break, I said, like, I feel like some of these teams scored the amount of points that they needed to score to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they just said, we can't, like... For Brandon Staley not to go for any of those fourth downs, and he had a lot of fourth and shorts.
He's notorious for that.
Right? And I know he's done it less this year.
They don't even care.
Because
He's done it less this year, but they had a lot of fourth and shorts in that game, like less than 3 yards. He didn't go for a single one of them.
What's the
and
only
I
way?
think it's because he knew he didn't
What's
have
the
to.
only
also,
way
if
you're
we
going
win
to get them
that,
lights?
if we win that game, he's on LinkedIn the next day. He wasn't going to make it. Like,
Not LinkedIn.
Currently looking for work.
You're absolutely right. I think if they lost, he was out.
Gone. He's still probably gone.
You're welcome. Just one thing I want to bring up though is,
Merry Christmas, Brandon.
like Robert Kraft and Jonathan Kraft are going to make this decision, and
it's not going to be Fred Kirsch.
It's not going to be Fred Kirsch.
Paul Perillo.
But there's something to be said. Like, what do they want? I mean, does Robert at this stage in his career and owning this team want to bring in a bunch of new guys who are going to run his team the whole thing, or does he want to say?
That's my concern. Like,
I know
let's
Gerard.
stick with it. Let's stick with it.
We can,
because he's in his 80s, and he wants to win.
And you have to think like I mean, I guess the philosophy is, and we've had this talk, Paul, is, well, it's going to be the Patriots kind of system, but it's going to be without the mean old guy, like without Bill, like that's just what they want to extract, is they want to, give it kind of a younger feel that might appeal towards the younger players and get those guys back on board. And, I mean, we've heard guys in the locker room talk about how much they love Gerard and love listening to him speak. And I mean, it seems like
I love Gerard.
He would be able to motivate guys to play. But I think there's something about me that I struggle imagining Robert Kraft at this stage saying, I'm ready to start all over again with a whole new bunch of guys and try to figure it out with those guys. I think that he's gonna want to have an element of continuity and a familiarity that he doesn't lose. And I don't know if that's the best thing for the team. There's also a big part of me that feels like this next regime is probably going to be a placeholder for when they actually get good. This is going to be kind of a couple years of treading water and maybe a young head coach making some mistakes and, hopefully starting to find the talent that you get out of this draft and maybe next year's draft and developing those guys. And then, all this promise is kind of happening. And then you bring in the real head coach. That's when, that's when it really takes off after
and
that.
I'm sure they're looking at it, and they might not be wrong to do it. Like Gerard Mayo, they're probably looking at D'Amico Ryans. Defensive guy, former player, stepped in immediately and has at least put the Texans on the road to contention. I would say the illusion of contention, but they're in it. It's 7-5. They're in it. They're going to play meaningful games in December for the first time since when? Billy O?
Yeah.
So they might look at it and say, well, they hired a defensive guy, a former player, had never done it before, and it's worked. So why can't it work with Gerard Mayo?
Yeah. I would have loved to see, it's like you can't cry over spilled milk now, but if they decided to get rid of Bill a few games ago, I don't know, the Saints game, 34-0, and then go with Gerard Mayo the rest of the season to see what he does as an interim coach. It's too late to do it now because you don't want to ruin the draft pick, but it would have been nice to see okay, let's give him a shot to be the interim head coach and see what he does.
Do you think that's fair? I don't have an opinion on it, but I just for if you were Gerard Mayo, do you feel like that's fair to get a chance with a team that you really didn't? I mean, I know I'm sure he has had input into it, but kind of like what we talked about when Zappe gets thrust in, kind of crazy situation, and good luck. Here's your audition.
It's
don't
a
mess it
no-win
up
for an interim guy. If it doesn't work and he doesn't turn anything around, then he's dismissed. And even when it works, they almost never hire the interim guy.
That's what I was going to say. How come they never? I mean, Rick, the Raiders guy. I mean, there's been
Rich Bisaccia.
Rick Bisaccia.
It's unbelievable.
Very, very hurt.
Christian knows.
Do you think
Chris
if
with the TIAN, he knows what I'm feeling.
Simonelli.
Do you think if they got blown out that Raiders game, it was over
for
Bill?
I don't know.
They got blown out.
Like another 30-0
against Dallas. They got blown out against New Orleans, but it wasn't a blowout against the Raiders because the quarterback. Yeah.
I don't know.
Could have been.
I mean, maybe. I still can't wrap my head around that Josh was there for how many games in preseason, regular season, and he still beat the Patriots 3 times in the time that he was with the Raiders.
You could make an argument that he was
that's all he could do.
On a short list of the most disastrous head coaches in NFL history. He didn't make it through his second year twice and found a way to go 3-0 against the Patriots.
And technically 4-0 because he beat him with the Broncos too, right? As a head coach, the Patriots couldn't figure out a way.
Isn't that 3? What was
well, the preseason game.
Oh.
I mean, I know, but you know how you do these things and you move things to make it look a certain way.
Yes,
and,
I do, Felger.
3 times.
Yes, Felger, I do know. Yeah, it's 4 times.
Right.
He beat you 4 times.
And not even Fred's anger towards him could prevent him from doing the same thing here.
I'm telling you guys, you should have seen Fred that day. He was apoplectic. He was so mad at Josh. We're sitting on the bus, and right out the window, Josh is hugging everybody and big laughs, smiles.
Last year?
In Denver in 09.
Okay.
When they beat us in 09, Fred was so mad. Look at this guy. Will you look at him? We just lost a game. He should have some respect. And I'm like, Fred, he's excited. He's a young guy. He's coming over, and he's like, oh, I can't believe that. I can't. I've never seen Fred so mad in my life.
Tyler in Providence got a draft question. I don't know if I don't know this one, Paul. Is there any rule that will prevent a college player like Caleb Williams from not declaring for the draft, but making his plan to play known, and then after the draft, signing a contract with the highest bidder?
No, you can't do that.
No,
because
if you're not eligible for the draft, you're not eligible to be signed.
Because didn't Michael Crabtree with the contract dispute years ago, he would have just had to go back into the draft?
Yeah, he can do that. You can do. He doesn't have to come out, but if you're not eligible for the draft, you're not eligible to be signed. That's a whole process. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now,
does he have the opportunity to say I don't want to go to.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's just is that just a
Basically,
warning shot though? 'Cause
John
they- you
Elway
could
did
still
it, and
take
Eli
'em.
Manning did it. Yeah, I would take him and say, all right, yeah,
Suck
well,
it up.
now what are you going to do?
Well, I saw the teams that he named like that he wanted to play for. I don't know what it was like. His like 5 favorite teams as a kid. Like there was no rhyme or reason to like why he wanted to play.
We
for those
see
teams
all
in
these
mind.
like, oh, he said this, he said that, but like it's sources. It's always sources said he said this. Like
I got in an argument with Fred in the post-game show. It's his father is a potential problem. That would worry
It's like
me.
Friday Night Lights with Michael B. Jordan's dad. Did he even make it that far in the show?
Michael, did I make it that far?
Yeah. Did you watch the show?
I watched every episode of
Okay,
that show. The show
perfect.
was phenomenal.
That's the best show. Yeah. All right.
I gotta watch it.
Michael B. Jordan wasn't as good
Get
as
on
Smash,
that.
though.
No, Smash was the best.
Smash was better than Michael B. Jordan.
Smash was the best.
Much better running back.
Do you want my idea? This is a side topic here.
No, go.
This is what we're here for.
Friday Night Lights.
We got 20 more
Friday
minutes.
Night Lights, but it's Minnesota high school hockey. They need to make that. Dude, you would like that.
I tried. Well, there's a book about Minnesota high school hockey. I forget what the title is off the top of my head, but some producers were trying to make a movie into it, and so I had like a meeting about like trying to same thing though. It's a Minnesota high school hockey, but I'm a mass guy. I can't.
I want to do prep school hockey. That's what you said.
Prep school.
Prep school hockey.
Well, with all these new
Yeah.
hockey schools that are
Look
coming
at
out
all
now,
these-
like they're just academies.
these rich
like
a-holes.
like
Really
Mount St.
tough.
Charles, like Matignon went under, but like those schools now are
Yeah.
they're like hockey academies. They're not even real schools anymore. They're just people go to play hockey. Good luck.
So is that like Mount St. Charles is not a school anymore? It's just a
It's
hockey.
still a school, but I think their primary
IMG of ice
focus is
Yeah.
is hockey,
IMG of
and
That
they
is
have
funny.
like 7 teams or something crazy like that. I just don't know what the end of it all is. Like it's just like what you're going to put all this time and money into it. Your kid's going to be a 22-year-old freshman at like Trinity, like like
go
a
check
great
UMass
school,
Lowell's
but
roster. They have 25-year-old
25-year-olds.
freshmen.
Like and what to what end are you getting? I don't know. I don't get it. I just it's totally
Won
different.
Quinnipiac a national title, so who's to argue?
I saw some recruits there for Northeastern. It looks like they
Did ya?
made some signings.
Did you? I missed that. I'm mad at that.
You're out.
I'm not out. I'm just mad.
Yeah, Speedway's in and just says, I think there's a 0.0 chance the Crafts don't keep Mayo on the staff. In what capacity, I'm not sure, but odds are a promotion of some sort. What constraints does that create when rebuilding the coaching staff? Too many, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I think if it's not head coach, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
You think? You don't think he would stay for DC? Because he's not actually the DC
If
right
he's
now?
not the head coach, I don't think he's going to have the option.
Right, you can't hire the DC. And
Unless, I mean, I'm not saying 0.0. I'm like, maybe they hire Mike Dussault. Mike Dussault really wants Gerard Mayo.
Mm-hmm.
There are also other
Then he
teams
could
that could
stay.
just want Mayo as well.
But, like, I don't know why you would stay if you felt like...
Right. Well,
if this whole thing that we've been sold on is that they convinced him to stay last year because he's the guy in waiting, and then you make a move
Got
and
it.
you don't... I mean, I would if I were Gerard, I would leave.
It's also before we went 2-10. But
it just makes me wonder, like, really what was going on last year with the whole, because, I mean, I was reviewing some of the stuff we did in the offseason last year where you had, it was like a big deal about Mayo getting a contract extension, and we were kind of trumpeting that. And, we get to this point now, and like logically, and I mean, I think everybody realizes it seems like, well, they love Mayo. They wanted to keep him around. Like, he's got to be the clubhouse favorite right now to be that guy, but there's no other real way to consider unless the guy who wrote in said, the Billy O thing where it's Billy O and we'll just kind of shift everybody a little bit. But I don't know. It's hard to see him staying unless he's the head coach, because otherwise the new head coach is going to be up to him, right? Or GM.
I want GM. That's all I want. I just want a GM.
What about a new GM?
A GM would be great.
I want the San Francisco assistant guy.
Yeah,
just like,
with Mayo.
Yeah.
Adam Peters.
Yeah, just like come on.
And then maybe a new offensive coordinator.
I just want somebody to pick the players for us.
DeMarcus Covington.
Yeah, and
DC.
I wouldn't be opposed to Billy O staying if he wanted to, but I would put that in a similar situation, Tamara, that we were just talking about. If O'Brien doesn't get the job, he probably wants to go somewhere else to get a job.
I still don't know how I feel about O'Brien. Like I like my immediate reaction is like I don't really feel it's his fault.
Can't argue with the results though. It's
But
the worst
I know.
offense in football, and he's the offensive coordinator.
I know.
So I get that.
I think part of it is just still I'm living off of that first press conference moment when he came in down there in the press room in last spring, and it was like, oh, thank God, we got a real offensive adult back in the room, knows what he wants, knows what he's gonna do. We're gonna be fine. At the very least, this will be an average offense. He'll get Mac back on track. And
3 months later,
nope.
So what about Saracen? What you think of him as a quarterback?
Great guy, a great guy, gritty guy.
Gritty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Got the most out of his
Better
ability.
than
Matt Saracen?
Yeah.
Matt Saracen. Yeah.
Got the most out of his ability, playing well above the rim with Amy Teagarden.
Who's the long-haired wild card kid?
Riggins.
Right.
Riggins.
Right. I watched a few episodes. You watch any of this? No, this isn't a lot. There was any
Riggins
Law and
needed the
Order.
right. Riggins needed the right coach. He would have went to the league.
And how many seasons did the series cover?
It went 5, but it was during the writer's strike.
Yeah.
So you could tell there's some flaws in season 2.
All of a sudden, the kids look like 2 years older.
Yeah, and then like people are getting murdered and it's crazy.
But were the same kids on the team, or was there a freshman class that came through and they rotated over?
A freshman class comes through, and now I won't spoil it. But
no, it's okay.
Well, it is 15 years old at this point. So I don't really think it's a spoiler.
I think Dude should watch it.
You should watch.
So you have your initial class, and then it turns out the town, it's a fictional town. There's the east side of town.
Oh,
but that happens
that's the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. So he has to go the other, East Dillon.
Yeah.
And then the school you were rooting for is now the bad guys.
Right. They turn into the bad guys because they kick Coach Taylor out.
That's
who, by
pretty
the way,
good.
I love.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's just from hey, we're running out of steam. How can we spice this up here? Because all TV series dramas get
It's
stale.
just funny to see the
Luke
actors.
Comes in.
Oh, Luke Cafferty.
By far the third worst. Third, behind Michael B. Jordan and Smash. But a good solid player nonetheless.
Yeah.
But then he's he's having some physical issues, pills and stuff. I'm just
is this your Law and Order, Paul? You seem like you love this show, huh?
Oh, I love
it's
it.
great, dude.
No, I've watched it. I've watched probably the first 3-4 episodes and whatever. The
Beth and I
timing of it,
watched every episode.
The best is seeing the old actors who are like Jesse Plemons. He's in it.
Yep, I remember him.
Michael B. Jordan.
See, I don't really know of Jesse Plemons in anything else.
Well, he's in Killers of the Flower Moon. Game. I can go on for a while.
What else?
I don't know. It's too many movies.
Okay, so so far it just sounds like things that I haven't seen, so that's why I didn't know. But Minka Kelly, a young Minka Kelly.
Oh yeah. No, I'm familiar. I know.
Are you now?
I know her work.
Oh, are you
familiar
now?
with her work.
Lila Garrity was throwing high heat. That was the other one.
Should we get Buddy?
Jesse Plemons with the Tyra. You said it was kind of like flaws in this. Yeah.
What
no,
about Buddy
happening.
Garrity as GM? We could do something.
Buddy Garrity was a good, solid, crooked booster. With a good heart, of course.
Okay, so I think we got your next PU
hold on,
halftime. Your next PU save this for the PU halftime show. You're gonna get Paul on. Where you're gonna
Paul,
just
I'd be happy to come down and do Friday Night Lights for a half hour.
He was in Breaking Bad. Come on, he's
didn't see Breaking Bad.
Like Mike.
Don't have any idea what that is.
He was in Black Mass.
At least I know what.
Black Mass.
I do remember him in Black Mass.
American Made. I can.
Never heard of that. I do remember him in Black Mass.
Battleship. Vice.
Seriously, never heard of it.
I'll get you on the halftime show.
But we could do. Mike's mad at me, but we could do definitely
13
Friday
minutes.
Night Lights.
Well, Christian did write in and just said, "Nice friend you have there, Paul. Shame on you, Deuce." So he wrote in about my. No, I'm sorry for the Italians there. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
Very, very hurt.
Bart from Poland writes in, "Hey guys, on the pregame show, Paul said in response to my email of
nothing good starts with that line.
Taking Daniels, somebody's coming at you with receipts. Taking Daniels in the top 3, that he would be cautious about a player jumping 20 to 30 spots after the season is over, and I agree with that. However, I don't think it applies here. While Daniels wasn't a first-rounder before the season, now Daniels is already a consensus top 10, 15 pick by most draft experts.
Yeah, 15. We're talking about taking him at 2.
Yeah, I mean this is what we get.
But
to
I agree
debate
with agree with his premise exactly, and I do think it's different. What really, and Mike, you can back me up on this because you and I did argue a little bit about this at the time.
Tiny bit,
right? What really troubled me about Mac Jones was he did not rise now. At this time of the football season, Mac Jones wasn't shooting up the draft boards to the first round.
Yeah.
It was after the season. Those are the guys that worry me.
Yeah.
That something happens between February 1st and April 30th that causes a guy to go from a third-round pick to the middle of the first round. Those guys worry me. And that always worried me about Mac Jones. Is he just interviewing great? Everybody likes the guy? Is that all this is about? Jaden Daniels, to the emailer's credit, maybe didn't start the season as a first-round pick, but he's played his way into being a first-round pick. That worried me about Zach Wilson, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I didn't remember anybody talking about Zach Wilson in the first round until that season was over.
Pro day.
Yeah.
Just Ben keeping you guys correct. He said Michael B. Jordan was a QB, not a running back. Above the front.
I think I may have said that. That is correct. I will own that. I will own that.
Well, wasn't his first practice running back?
Why can I not remember what his name was?
Oh my God!
I can't remember his name.
I'm gonna get that real quick. It's driving me crazy.
Is it safe to say with this year's quarterbacks?
Deuce is really getting mad
Yeah,
now.
you could-
And we're not talking Law and Order, so Tamara's completely checked out.
Is it safe to say though that this year's quarterback class, there isn't really a Mac Jones type,
Howard.
lacking athleticism? Like, are all these guys at least have pretty good athleticism? They can tuck and run a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know of any of them that don't have any ability to make a play with their legs. Yeah.
I feel like
Shadur's not
Notre
mobile.
Dame's quarterbacks
He's pretty
typically
mobile.
are
You don't think
pocket
he's mobile?
passers
A little
only.
mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you would
Like
know.
we said, doesn't have
They're
the
your
ability.
guys.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, aren't you gonna be on the offensive tackle though? Isn't that gonna be your
Oh
jam
yeah.
this year?
Oh yeah. Like, but I feel
Olu
like
Fashanu.
I feel like they always have a great offensive line and a pocket passing quarterback. They really, the last one that was mobile was like Deshaun, which he didn't last long. in Green
I
Bay.
remember him.
Yeah, and then
Kaiser? Is that what-
yeah,
yeah.
he didn't last. He didn't last long. And then Brandon Wimbush, who he ended up transferring to.
Yeah, and I'm not
UCF.
going to say anything like overly disrespectful, but that's why you haven't been relevant in a long time either.
Yeah, they always have a pocket passer, great offensive line, like, but their quarterbacks don't pan out.
You think you're just gonna run out there with your helmet shining in the light?
Sam Hartman will be that guy this
Hartman.
year. People
Oh, yeah.
will talk themselves into him. You know, a lot of experience, started a million games, a lot of production.
Pocket passer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
Good
yeah.
beard, strong beard.
Chris Cassidy from here in he weighs in, says Marvin Harrison and Bo Nix later. I will stand by it.
Bo Nix has been playing
Oh,
since like the
wow.
Obama administration. It's
I
not
have.
like-
I got to tell you, I will say I am out on Bo Nix.
It's the
I'm
same
not.
thing.
I'm
You're
not
gonna nix
It
him?
would be cool to get Marvin Harrison and then
Shador.
getting and then getting Jaden. Like, that would be great if you could trade up and get him late first round,
Well, if
but
you do-
still get Marvin
do
in
it.
that first pick.
If you treat the mock draft simulator like Madden, you can get Caleb and Marvin.
Well, that's what people do.
Oh
on,
my
that's what
God.
people do on Twitter.
Yeah.
Somehow they just know.
Oh, he's there.
The guy I want is available every pick. Like I got. I don't know if you know, but I got Jaden Daniels in the early sixth round.
The thing is, like the top prospects for the receivers are so good. Like obviously, like we said earlier, Marvin Harrison's the top guy. But if you get a quarterback, you can maybe get with that the second, which is pretty much a first. You can move up and maybe get one of those other
How
guys.
about I mean, do it. I mean, I don't know how high these guys are going to go. I don't do the mock draft stuff. Certainly not yet, but I won't ever do it. Why not take a quarterback? Take Jaden Daniels. Wherever in the top 5, and then get Malik Neighbors later.
Mm-hmm. It's going to happen too. It happened this year. It's going to be receiver. It happens. Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnson. I don't know the other two, but that's going to happen.
JSN
eventually.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this. This is maybe the last question here. It's something I've just been thinking about looking at next year's depth chart. You have Devontae Parker is under contract. Juju Smith-Schuster is under contract. Demario Douglas
How do we
is
get rid of
under
those?
contract.
That's the question.
Wait for it.
Retweet.
Tyquan Thornton is under contract. So 4 guys. Kendrick Bourne is a free agent. How would you approach this group this offseason? Because you're spending a lot of money. Now, you could cut Juju, you could cut Devontae Parker. I mean, they've shown an appetite to give Devontae Parker a couple contracts now. So how would you approach it? Would you go into free agency and spend more money? Would you cut those guys, eat the dead money, and try to rebuild it, through free agency? Would you just say, let's bring those guys back and draft a couple guys and try to incorporate them in a manageable salary? Like, how would you kind of approach it, knowing that? And then Kendrick Bourne's out there too. Would you re-sign Kendrick Bourne?
I think
I
you
would
get
take
Kendrick off the
Kendrick,
ACL.
delete the rest of them.
Yeah, if you can trade him, awesome. If not, smell you.
So sign Kendrick Bourne to a free agency deal.
A 1 year deal.
1 year.
'Cause
One
it's
year
just
deal.
I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
I want
I'm just saying
Kendrick.
because I think he's been here, he knows it, and like he's off the ACL, so you can get him.
But what does he know? You're going to be running something totally different than when you're running.
Well, I think we're losing out on some vets, and you need a vet in the locker
Yeah,
room.
my plan would be to go heavy in free agency for somebody, and
One guy, like get a big dog.
Michael
try to
Pittman.
go get Michael
Mike
Pittman.
Evans.
Yeah.
Mike Evans.
T. Higgins.
I would
Now
love
T.
Mike
Higgins
Evans.
is probably going to be too much for them, but I would go heavy for one of those guys, and then that takes the pressure off. And I know that like Juju's cap hit if they cut him is like over $12 million, so he's probably not going to get cut. But you could probably figure out a way to get rid of one of those guys somehow.
That's my question.
And then you have to draft some. I do think there's always good receivers that you can get on day 2. So if you don't, I mean, I get it. Tackle's a huge need. Quarterback's a huge need. Yeah, wide receiver's a huge need, but you can't get them all in the first round. So maybe you wait for day 2 and get a good receiver instead of Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's just what I'm struggling with. Is I just feel like their finances at the position are completely upside down right now, and I just, you need better players for sure, but there's no easy way to kind of wave a wand and get rid of the guys you don't want with dead money and bring in the new guys you do. And it just
by
seems
the way, you could have 0 tight ends too.
Yeah.
So
it's also like, how did you not learn anything from Jonnu and Nelson Aguilar in that group? And then you spend money on Devontae Parker, who's done nothing, and Juju, who isn't able to do what he used to do.
Those are
I'm confused.
Concerning. They're concerning. I mean, and those are recent pieces that they extended.
And you have to hope that you're gonna when you change this, that the change in approach is gonna help those guys be bigger factors, because you can't just change the receivers. You can't bring in T. Higgins and think, well, what's going to prevent T. Higgins from being like Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar and just be, no, you got to do something to make sure that they assimilate.
Isn't it fair to say that the Patriots have had way more interest in a guy like Devontae Parker than probably any other team in the league? Is it really reasonable to believe that a new coach will come in here and have a use for him? Like, I struggle to see a new coach coming in and saying, This is a guy we need to keep. That we need to keep this contested.
But I'll tell you, that would be a fear, because if you get rid of both of those guys, and now the millions and millions of dollars in cap space, you spend $20 million of them is dead money on 2 receivers that aren't on your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
I'm hoping whoever it is comes in and is not as dramatic as Coach Prime, but comes in and is like, this roster sucks, and we might have to bite a few million, but we cannot keep all of them.
Yeah. Would you resign Hunter Henry?
Yeah, I would. It depends what the price is, to be honest. But
I wouldn't.
Redo?
No.
Well, how would you approach the tight end position then?
I low-key keep
nobody.
Farrell.
Yeah, keep Farrell, but
I wouldn't be opposed to keeping him as
I think he's one of
the
the few
third
bright
tight
spots.
end, but I would probably try to draft a guy, maybe sign somebody in free agency that's a little bit of a lesser deal. You're going to get him at less money than he's making. You already paid him too much money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How old's
tight end in the
Hunter?
draft.
I think he's right around 30. But I mean, I like what the Packers did. I mean, they like all this stuff that we're talking about. I feel like they've just been stacking receivers. They drafted 2 tight ends last year. I mean, they got Watson
and where
Jaden Reed.
Where did they get all those
picks,
guys?
high,
but not
invested.
in the first.
I mean, second.
It's Watson, Dobbs.
But those first 2 days,
Reed,
but talented guys.
Is it Kraft?
Tucker Kraft,
right? And then the other guy.
Yeah, the other kid.
Why can't I think of the other guy? Musgrave.
Luke Musgrave. Yep.
Not first round picks. You can do it, but you
right.
got to do it.
And you had some growing
have
pains.
A GM.
Yeah.
And you probably need a new scouting department.
Yeah,
you just need fresh minds.
I think you look at Green Bay right now, and that's I mean, I don't know how good they really are. I mean, everyone's high and mighty on them right now, but they're doing it the way that
it's a young, energetic team.
Do you think? See, now this is where I would say, as opposed to Pittsburgh, which I don't think has that kind of talent on the roster. Green Bay, I can see something. If Jordan Love continues to play the way he did the last 3 games,
and these guys are
I can see something. These guys are all going to get better together, and then all of a sudden, and they're not bad on the defensive side of the ball either in terms of youth.
No,
with they have
Rashawn
Quay
Gary.
And Quay Walker is there too, right?
Yep.
They have some
so good.
individual personnel. Jair Alexander's no dinosaur. They could be, 2 years from now, you could be looking at them the way we look at San Francisco now.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to do it for us.
Wow,
Make sure you stay tuned for the playbook. John Rook up next, and pregame show will be tomorrow, 6 p.m., so tune in for that. And the Patriots will travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers.
I'll see you at 5-0.
I'll see you at 5 or 6, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.